Over 20 years ago, Alex Jones created the media platform called InfoWars, and in the decades since, it's grown into a truly remarkable institution with over 200 radio affiliates, tens of millions of unique website visitors monthly, and a 24/7 live news TV channel broadcasting from state-of-the-art studios in Austin, Texas. InfoWars has become the most trusted independent news source in the country, dedicated to delivering breaking news, live coverage of special events, and exclusive reports you won't find anywhere else. While the old guard media struggles to maintain supremacy in a landscape rocked by innovation and technology, InfoWars has been at the forefront of the information revolution. From 8 million radio listeners, over 2 million YouTube subscribers, or the billions of views of our online content, InfoWars proves dominant in every facet of media we enter. For the hardest-hitting reports, uncompromising analysis, for high-profile interviews and bombshell revelations, accept no substitutes. Demand truth. Demand InfoWars. InfoWars. Tomorrow's news today.
The gentleman is not recognized.
Just take back over your time and just fire away.
Knowing this, will you answer the committee's question as directed, or do you refuse to answer the committee's question?
Mr. Chairman, as you know, counsel for the FBI has directed me not to answer questions about the ongoing investigation. As you also know, counsel for the FBI is sitting here behind me. May I consult with them?
You may consult with your own counsel.
No, but I may not consult with the FBI's counsel?
Only with your own counsel.
Mr. Chairman, there's no basis for that. He can consult with the FBI counsel. He's an FBI employee.
The gentleman is not recognized.
And the chairman is not being proper.
The chairman is being proper.
The witness can't be directed not to confer with his attorney.
The FBI is not his attorney. His attorney is seated behind him. If he wishes,
He's an employee of the FBI,
he's already done. He may do so.
And his attorney may consult with the FBI attorney?
Isn't the privilege that of the FBI, and shouldn't the FBI counsel be solicited on that point?
You just take that over right now. Just let Trey have it. Let's get this out. Let's just get this out, and then we'll go back here. We got it.
Mr. Chairman, my counsel has reiterated that counsel for the FBI has directed that I may not answer that question.
Mr. Strzok, in a moment we will continue with the hearing, but based on your refusal to answer the question, at the conclusion of the day we will be recessing the hearing, and you will be subject to recall to allow the committee to consider proceeding with a contempt citation.
A point of order, Mr. Chairman. Will the committee also consider contempt for Mr. Bannon, who refused to answer Mr. Gowdy's questions when he was actually under subpoena?
That is not a proper point of order in this hearing.
Parliamentary inquiry.
Mr. Gowdy, do you remember
Parliamentary inquiry.
The time is controlled by the gentleman.
History is happening. That's Congressman Goodlatte. And we've got dozens of fiery, explosive, historical clips coming up today. And we've got several people in there watching the ongoing live hearings, collating it, and we'll have a lot of it for you throughout the transmission. That said, we've got the big events taking place with Trump in Europe, now traveling to the UK. We have Stormy Daniels obviously being arrested. We have Dianne Feinstein fighting to even get the Democratic nomination. We have Democrats openly calling for Pelosi to step down, realizing that the crypt keeper nature of their party is not popular. It is quite an amazing time to be alive right now. But that said, I'm going to cover something first when we come back from break that I hope everybody really pays attention to, because I know a lot of folks have learned that we're trailblazers. We've got our finger on the touchstone, the zeitgeist. But I've talked to senior people in the administration. I've talked to other folks in the campaign. I've talked to a lot of people about the concerted effort to fundamentally change the architecture of the internet and ban conservatives, nationalists, libertarians, Christians, gun owners, you name it, from access to most major platforms. And they're bragging how they're doing it. And Trump has not yet really responded to this. And really neither has anybody else. So we're tasked here at InfoWars with really blueprinting what they're doing from their own words. But that said, I printed up just the last few months of CNN saying to major publishers, don't publish Alex Jones's book, and successfully getting them not to publish it, tortious interference. CNN trying to get me banned off YouTube, saying they're lobbying to do it. And now the head of CNN's major operations has gone to a Facebook conference and called for me to be banned, and they assured them that they'll start censoring us more. This is their main rollout, ladies and gentlemen, and now Sacha Baron Cohen is stalking InfoWars, we've confirmed. Stay with us.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Make ready to land our troops beyond their energy field. And we've definitely landed our troops in Washington, and we are taking the republic back, but the globalists are striking back and fighting as hard as they can. Well, I suspected this 6 months ago, but now we've confirmed it. Sacha Baron Cohen, we're digging out the emails right now, via Showtime, was targeting InfoWars and wanting in the building. And I just have a policy where I basically don't talk to mainstream media anymore. They're like, oh, we want to show both sides of the divide in America. We want to do a fair peace. And as soon as I saw Sarah Palin putting out the text last night that they'd sent her, the deceptive text, I went, wait, I've read those exact emails, and I've heard my producer talk about them telling them that. And after about a month of them incessantly calling, I said, don't call her anymore. Sacha Baron Cohen, the king of fake news. Because what they do is they act like they're comedians, but then the media puts out the late night comedy shows like Homeland, all these so-called entertainment shows from the opposition to you name it, are designed to target InfoWars in their own admissions. And then they put it out like the things they're saying, bigoted, hateful, racist, are things we said. And then they have CNN come out today and call for InfoWars to be banned. CNN officially sent their head of media operations to Facebook, and CNN Money has the headline that they're calling for me to be removed from the internet. They want our apps removed. They want us kicked off Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. They don't want us to have access to Google Store, which has already happened. They don't want us to have advertising to any of this. And then they misrepresent things I've said or done as the excuse. A few months ago, CNN said, ban him from YouTube. He says no one died at Parkland. It's all fake. Never said that. You said that. You are fake news. And look at the smiling possum grin of a possum sitting over a nice big pile of dog crap it found that it wants to eat. Facebook touts fight on fake news, but struggles to explain why InfoWars isn't banned. Wow, what an American organization. At CNN, we love the American people. We don't hate the American people. Remember Wolf Blitzer? So Trump calls you fake news. Does that mean you get banned? No. It means everyone tunes out and your ratings go from non-existent to negative. You have to force feed at hotels and restaurants and bus terminals and schools. When I was in high school 27 years ago, man, I'm getting old. 27 years ago, they put in TVs when I was a sophomore in Rockwall, Texas. And then I moved down here the next year, and they had the TVs in there. In your first period, you would watch 15 minutes of CNN propaganda. And it was all race war, whites are bad, guns are bad. It was incredible. And CNN paid for the entire TV system to be put into the entire school, set of projectors, in Rockwall, Texas, and then in Austin, Texas, and I learned nationwide to force feed their garbage. So, they are openly saying they want to ban InfoWars. They're all over the news saying it. They have Sacha Baron Cohen stalking us, dressed up with InfoWars shirts and stickers. going around saying horrible racist things. That's in the news today. And so in the movie, he dresses like an InfoWars listener and then runs around saying racist things. Total defamation on a whole group of people that are pro-America and pro-free market. This is how they operate. So I'm going to be breaking this down today. We're going to be getting into the incredible hearings that are taking place. GOP lawmakers threaten FBI agent Peter Strzok with contempt for refusing to answer questions on Mueller probe. U.S. Marshals serve subpoena on FBI lawyer Lisa Page. Congress threatens to hold her in contempt. It's all coming up, ladies and gentlemen, today. We've got them in the crosshairs. But that said, it's neck and neck. We are starting to win, but we're far from having the main victory. And if people don't take this very, very seriously, they've got a few aces up their sleeve. The globalists are going to at least bring in a total destabilization, as they're already starting to do, to try to stop America's return. So this is a total fight. You see CNN trying to collapse our borders. You see the mainstream media and the Democrats rooting against Trump when we pay half of the NATO bill and 20-something other countries pay almost nothing. And they call that traitorous and bad and hurting America. You just see how much they hate America, how much they hate the American people, how they've been for generations, several, 60 years or so, selling out our infrastructure. I mean, look at these headlines. Sarah Palin isn't the only one. Dick Cheney, Bernie Sanders also got duped by Sacha Baron Cohen. Exclusive Breitbart, Sacha Baron Cohen posed as disabled veteran Trump voter with bullet necklace and InfoWars stickers. And then meanwhile, Hillary Clinton calls for InfoWars to be banned. Homeland blames Alex Jones' character for fake news and then says things I never said. And then they use this in CNN articles to go, look, ban InfoWars. Look, everybody hates him. No, you hate me. Fake news is television's favorite news storyline, The Atlantic. And then it talks about InfoWars. They quote things that they say I said on the TV show, on a fiction show on Showtime, and then use that as a way to, quote, ban InfoWars because Homeland said it. And then weird Democrat voters watch this crap, dozens of shows against me, and then they believe when they see me on the street that I'm really that person. Talk about weak-minded. We've got all the Hillary clips calling for me to be banned, and she's still directing this. And has said, we've got to get fake news banned by the midterms or the Republicans will stay in power. We've got all the clips coming up. And then they're directly attacking InfoWars as the case point. They've got all these fake TV shows attacking me with fake news and then saying I need to be removed because I'm fake news, so I can't, and this is the key, defend myself while they demonize and attack me. Here it is, CNN lobbies Facebook to shut down InfoWars, the new story today. And they're at the conference openly saying it isn't enough to shadow ban them or block their articles. We want it totally banned. Because Jones says Trump is getting ready to come out and go public and expose Mueller for the 9/11 cover-up. Trump's already done that. His people have already done it. And that's a real source as well. Just wait and watch. No, they know I'm real news. That's why they're scared. But they lied about WMDs. They lied about the Martin Luther King bust being taken out of the White House. They lied about Trump not visiting Scalise in the hospital. They're known liars. So if you've been caught making a mistake, do you get taken off the air? They've been caught lying. So many times you can't even keep track of it. Facebook touts fight on fake news, but struggles to explain why InfoWars isn't banned. CNN today. And you've got one of the heads of CNN, this is CNN officially, lobbying for another news organization to be shut down. You talk about authoritarian. Hey, here's how you counter it. We've got for Apple and for Android an amazing new free app. It's InfoWars Official. There's hundreds of apps out there. It's InfoWars Official. Live feeds, audio feeds, podcast, alerts when live videos go live, news feeds, everything. Go to Infowars.com/app. Infowars.com/app right now and download it for free. But even more importantly, this isn't just some app like you collect apps. You're going to use this. tell everybody you know about it, this is the forbidden info. This is the guy they don't want you to hear. This is the guy they're demonizing everywhere. Obviously, you want to then go find out what it is they're so scared of. It's free right now. We'll be right back on the other side of this break. Infowars.com, newswars.com. The 12th day of July, 2018. Imagine if you'd have read or heard 10 years ago that in 2018, Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party in congressional hearings on television would be calling for conservative and libertarian, nationalist, and Christian news to be banned. And that mainline Christian country singers just singing about Jesus, this happened last week, we covered it, would be banned from advertising on Facebook because they were told it was political to say Jesus. Or that Google and Apple would remove Easter off of their list of holidays on their official calendars that are on your iPhones and Androids, but have all the Islamic holidays show up. It's all about rubbing your nose in it. They hate flyover country. They hate America. And then imagine if I told you 10 years ago that they would have late night comedy every night and 2 or 3 shows on Comedy Central and 2 shows on HBO and 2 shows on Showtime, modeled after Alex Jones, where they then misrepresent what I say and do to demonize me. Remember a year and a half ago, Chris Carter came out and said, Alex Jones isn't a racist, he's a libertarian. And I've created a character that's positive based on him for the show. And what was Chris Carter saying right there? He's in Hollywood. He knew the hit orders had gone out, and he wasn't going along with it. Well, all the other shows did, but Chris Carter. Everybody else demonized who I am and lied about me except Chris Carter and Matt Drudge. Everybody else is afraid to be associated with us because we hit the barbed wire, we tell the tough stories, we tell the truth. So the enemy then misrepresents who we are, and they even admit in Atlantic Monthly, TV's favorite storyline, from cop shows to you name it, so many I can't even keep track, is fake news. And then who do they define as fake news? There it is, Alex Jones, InfoWars. And then they misrepresent what we've said and done, so people hate me, weak-minded people that think dramas and comedy shows are real. They have a whole show, The Opposition, they just canceled because of low ratings, based on misrepresenting what we say and do. They steal your identity, they lie about you, and then they have congressional hearings saying shut down InfoWars everywhere. They have congressional hearings. I have all the articles right here. They unleash Sacha Baron Cohen, dressed up in InfoWars T-shirts and InfoWars stickers, to run around the country saying the most racist, homophobic, hateful things attributed to me. Defamation on its face, but protected because I'm a public figure. Then they file a bunch of fake lawsuits misrepresenting what I've said to put out twisted and false statements against me, to then use the lawsuits as prima facie evidence that I should be taken off every internet platform. That's how they're doing it. Look at drudgereport.com. It's got the article right there. Sacha Baron Cohen posed as disabled veteran, Trump voter with bullet necklace and InfoWars stickers in Palin prank. I confirmed a month ago from one of our military sources, who's a real military officer, real background, that they had been approached by Sacha Baron Cohen. And I guess they thought they could work with him and found out they were set up. But they couldn't get in the building. And 6 months ago, we've got the emails. Oh, Showtime, we're your friend. We want to show both sides. We want to be fair. And I looked right at the producer, Nico, and I said, Nico, it'll be some comedy hit piece show. I wasn't thinking Sacha Baron Cohen, but That's exactly what it is. Imagine making fun of brain damaged and disabled veterans, and then they went out, I guess, to a military hospital where people are listed as having brain disorders from being in explosions, and then tried to have veterans reach out to us. So I'm just now deciphering all of this, but let me tell you, it's sick. Who is America? And it all clicked last night that I remember one of our sources told us Cohen was after me a month ago. And then I was reading what Palin put out in her text messages. She sent screenshots of how they lied to her and how they said it was about both sides of America and bringing America together and just seeing what both sides are really saying. I was like, whoa, that's exactly what they told us. And I'm like, boom. And then I walk in this morning and they go, what, you haven't read Drudge Report? And I said, well, yeah, I did look at it, but no, InfoWars. He's dressed up in InfoWars outfits, which is exactly what I was told. And I'm going to go ahead and start spilling the beans. It looks like he was able to try to infiltrate Kanye West, too. Other targets of the globalist, Elon Musk. Sacha Baron Cohen is some type of intelligence operative. There's no doubt. This isn't a comedian. This is a saboteur. And now Sarah Silverman's reaching out to a Trump supporter saying, I love you. And that's all they can do is pure deception. And then Sarah Palin said they changed her flights that they'd paid for to fly her out for the interview to drop her in the middle of nowhere with no connecting flights for a day, just as an act of evil. Because this is all military attacks. Let me tell you something. You can't talk to leftists. You can't let them in your building. Der Spiegel begged to be in here, all this other stuff, and I was the last people I let in. And I got barbecue for him. And I said, would you like some brisket, like some sausage? And the guy laughed. And then he said in the newspaper that I said, you want to suck my sausage. That's Der Spiegel, formerly the most respected publication in Deutschland. Total lie, total fraud, total scam. These people will do anything. They have been authorized by their big corporations to push it to the wall. So that's what they do over and over and over again, and they're preying on you. So they have entertainment shows and all the rest of them sitting there misrepresenting who we are. Then they file fake lawsuits. Then they go to Congress and call for censorship. Then they have the big tech companies shadow ban everybody. And then once the precedent's set, they do it to everyone. And that's in the news with CNN, the London Guardian, all of them today, saying, we want Alex Jones banned. That's on Infowars.com right now with a direct link of one of the major heads of operations at CNN lobbying to have us banned. And they said, sir, we already censor him down to nothing. They said, that's not enough. We want him banned completely. Isn't that dangerous?
Finish him.
Antifa!
Flawless victory.
So there's Showtime shows, there's HBO shows, there's Comedy Central shows, all misrepresenting who I am and what InfoWars does. Oh, we're not important at all. Then they've got every major news program in the country doing hit pieces, Nightline, Dateline NBC, the CNN programs, MSNBC, every day misrepresenting. Fox News, when Megyn Kelly was there, editing tapes of me talking about Hillary being personally responsible for tens of thousands of dead children via the Arab Spring. And then saying I said kids were being killed in a pizza parlor. That's how they covered up what was really going on with the Podesta brothers and the emails and the Aleister Crowley crap that was in the WikiLeaks. They just created a fake story, put it on us, and then used their fake story to call for us to be banned before we've ever been found liable or defamatory in court. Total authoritarians with a coordinated demonization program of Trump, InfoWars, and others. And now CNN officially calls for InfoWars to be banned. I've got a lot of other news I want to cover here. We have a special guest, Larry Grathwold's daughter, who was out at the prayer vigil in San Francisco and got viciously attacked by Antifa. You're talking about 3 women, 3 or 4 men going out there just to have a prayer vigil in San Francisco and to pray for peace. Looks like about 16, 17 men show up with 1 woman to try to beat them up, and they couldn't even get it done and got run off. And the images of them punching women in the face. Scum of the earth. She'll be joining us the second half of the next hour. I intend to open the phones up as well. I want to cover a lot of news, but let me tell you something right now. There is nothing bigger out there than the fact that I can't even watch Netflix. I mean, I don't care what show it is or what movie now. It's got propaganda in it. I mean, I remember reading 30 years ago about the lost city of Z in South America and how they knew they'd found pyramids all over Central America, and they'd also found them in Peru. So British explorers went there to discover them. I mean, they found pyramids all over the world. They believed there were super civilizations. They believed Atlantis might be in South America, the British explorer. So I see it on Netflix, been out for a couple of years, and I think, let me watch this movie. And there's all these crazy, stupid white people, and they go there, and the British Academy of Science says, savages can't build pyramids. There are no pyramids in the Americas. They are all evil and dumb. And I'm going, what do you mean? They'd already found a bunch of them, and they thought Atlantis was there. They thought they'd find, you know, super palaces of gold and all this stuff. They thought the opposite. So I know the history. And then the whole thing is about how one guy's not racist and believes brown people can build things. And that's just one example of everything's a lie now. You think you're going to see a historical movie, and it's not just a little twisted. It's like a barrel of snakes, man. And, I mean, there's hundreds of movies about black sports stars that had to go through racism to win. Hundreds the last few years, and daytime TV shows and everything. You can't even go to the movies and like find something that isn't like this, and it's all a giant agenda to make us hate each other. It's insane. Like somebody in 1920 didn't believe there were pyramids in South America. Pyramids have been found in South America 500 years before. But again, this is what they do to people that don't know any history. Those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it. My people perish for lack of knowledge. This is how they prey on you. Hollywood is completely sold out to the communist Chinese. Michael Savage put a book out about that a few years ago. The publishers wouldn't even deliver it once they got threatened because they didn't realize it until the book was about to come out. Then the Chi-Coms got involved. They wouldn't deliver it to stores. I've now learned that I'm banned off big podcasts and things out there because people have been told that the Chinese communists basically control the industry they're involved, so you can't have Alex Jones on. Hell, I forgot this. Will you guys pull this for me? It was mainstream news yesterday. Apple products will not let you send, until yesterday, the emoji, the image of the Taiwanese flag. It makes your phone crash. Remember 12 years ago, John McCain said, if you hack anybody or you download illegal music, we will fry your computer. We will crash it or maybe even fry it. People said that's outrageous. They already had that technology. Apple's China-friendly censorship caused an iPhone crashing bug, Wired. And it goes on that if you try to send the Taiwanese flag, your iPhone crashes. Well, what happened 5 months ago? Apple officially moved to China to be tax exempt, merged with the government, and they told Reuters, in China, if you are based here, the government runs you. That's just the way it is. And boom, if they can censor a flag in real time, They can do a voice print and ban Alex Jones or President Trump. They can ban words, just like you try to type on your iPhone a cuss word, it won't let you do it. It's beyond that. It's here. And that's the new Article 13, Article 11 the EU's been trying to pass, saying that software by law will be on all devices where you cannot even say or do certain things preemptively. Now, this was such a big blow up for Apple, they had to back off. They said, we apologize. We'll only geolocate if you're inside China. Let that sink in. You've got all these Hollywood programs saying I'm a racist and misrepresenting who I am, defaming me. You've got the very same corporations and calling for me to be shut down so they can lie about me and you, and we don't have a way to speak out or resist it and even counter it. We have them suing us, trying to shut us down. They're trying to shadow ban and block the president, which they're doing on Twitter with his push notifications. Apple and others have moved to China and are now putting the iCloud data keys to everyone's iPhone on their platform and admitting that Chinese intelligence now runs Apple. Most of the universities are run by the Chi-Coms. Hollywood's owned by it. The UFC's being bought up by it. Everything. And I'm just a loyal American sitting here saying it's wrong for an American citizen not to be able to send the Taiwanese flag to somebody because the Chi-Coms that have killed over 100 million of their own people and sell Christians organs because they're Christians on the world market. What, tell me a 30-year-old Christian doesn't have a heartbeat or a soul next, liberals? You're not liberals. You are weak followers that sold out to every form of evil and didn't even get a payoff to do it. You like to watch mainstream news and feel like you're on the winning team. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not here trying to just get along to go along or go along to get along. I'm here to fight the globalist. I'm here to hit the barbed wire. I'm here to expose them. I'm here to never stop, never back down, and win. And thank God Trump's going to Europe and saying, we pay half of NATO. That's not fair. Pay a little more. Hey, China, you got a $900 billion deficit on us. Give us $50 billion. They said no. He goes, 250, 500 billion. Let's go. The days of everybody laying down are over. And all you traitors saying the president's a traitor, you're the traitors. And you're going to lose. Now, don't forget, we've launched, while it's still available, and let them censor it. That's just another victory to show who they are. On iPhone and Android, the official InfoWars app works great. Live video streaming, push notifications, listen without watching, turn the video off. Everything. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com for the shopping cart, but InfoWars.com/app. InfoWars.com/app to download the free app right now. InfoWars.com, tomorrow's news today, the cutting edge of the return of Americana. Straight ahead, we delve in to so much more. The live hearings in Congress and the return of the Republic straight ahead. So why do all the major universities that are state-funded badmouth America, call for race war, put down capitalism? Because the U.S. had half the wealth, 4% of the population in 1955. The globalists wrote up the textbooks of the plan to transfer all the wealth out to China and other countries to use that to set up a world government and planetary authoritarianism. 2018, Apple is under the Chinese government control. They've now banned sending out the Taiwanese emoji. No one even seems to care. And now they say they're going to start censoring you even on your own private text messages, criticizing China. And they've got your iPhone keys, they've got your photos, they've got the cloud. And Apple said that's just the way it is. They think you're habituated to accept it. Just like 3 days ago, Chertoff, the guy that personally made 30-something million off the naked body machines, his company made $2 billion. He said, you know what, it's too late. You're habituated. There is no privacy. Everything's on the cloud. It's over. You will assimilate. See how that works? Total world government, total surveillance, big tech companies all lining up to move to China. They're going to run it all. Year and a half ago, the Chinese dictator went to Davos and he said, with Juncker, in a statement, he said, we will stop Trump in America. Global government will continue. They shook hands. And he said, move all your command bases to us. We will let you run anything you want. You'll be liability protected. Juncker said, absolutely. We'll start launching laws that shut down the U.S. internet. We'll be exempt with you. And they said, absolutely, let's do it. And it's public. And it's on. And Trump is just trying to go over there and say, listen, you're not going to have a one-way street anymore where we pay for everything if you're going to side with the Chinese communists. That's really what's happening. They've all broken their deal that they had. China's not supposed to militarily expand outside the South China Sea. They're supposed to be given economic dominance, though. The old globalist plan is being broken because it was always planned to be broken. So remember when you watch Homeland or you watch Sacha Baron Cohen's new show on the same channel, or when you watch Colbert and all the rest of the shows attacking myself and Trump and saying horrible things, remember, they're the cowards. They're the sellouts. They work for the big corporations that want the Chinese market. And to be in the Chinese market, you've got to comply with their censorship. You think Sacha Baron Cohen, with all his bodyguards, likes slave Americans? He sees himself as an elitist. Owning guns? No. So he goes out and acts dumb with guns, wearing a Make America Great Again hat. What's he saying? We're not going to make America great again. We're going to blow America's head off. Because Cohen's smarter than you. He's better than you. He runs you. He owns you. And he's going to show you. But see, now Cohen's scared, and Hillary's scared, and all the rest of these guys are scared because they did all this selling out and all this arrogant garbage. It didn't turn out the way they thought. Before I get to the congressional clips, right through this segment and the next, let me just, if you're a TV viewer, pull this up for me, crew. CNN lobbies Facebook to shut down InfoWars. And look at the smile of the executive at CNN. Man, he's in charge. He's part of the establishment. Social media giant admits it downranks and basically shadow bans InfoWars, but says a full ban would cause lawsuits and tries to explain to CNN it's just mind-boggling how obvious this is and how disgusting and how ridiculous. After failing in its efforts to have YouTube shut down the Alex Jones channel, CNN is now lobbying Facebook to shut down InfoWars. In an article for CNN, senior media reporter Oliver Darcy, so he's the head of their media operations, explains how he tried to convince Facebook top brass to terminate our Facebook presence. Wow. Talk about a lawsuit. Facebook invited me to an event today where the company aimed to tout its commitment to fighting fake news and misinformation. I asked them why InfoWars is still allowed on the platform. I didn't get a good answer. But at the end, he says, well, they admit that they're censoring them down to nothing, but that's not enough. CNN, the kings of fake news, the kings of fake WMDs, the kings of there's no Martin Luther King bust, the kings of all the lies they tell, and the fake news they push. And then they have the nerve to then point at us and say, shut us down. What an un-American group of dirtbags. What an un-American group of scum. And I've got the stack of news here where they brag. Oh, Jones was going to publish a book with a particular publisher called The War for the Future. They went out and threatened everybody and said don't do it till the publishers dropped out, which I could self-publish and make it even bigger, and we're planning to do that. But we wanted to let you try to censor it first and create that allure first, dumbasses. But the point is that there they are. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, the game author Neil Strauss, partnering on a book. They go on saying, shut it down. InfoWars' main YouTube channel is 2 strikes away from being banned, CNN. And they say, we have been talking to YouTube and want it banned. And then they lied about what I was even saying to get it banned. Video, Dem lawmaker demands Twitter censor InfoWars. This is in congressional hearings. So I'm going to ask you all, what are you going to do about this? You need to understand, we are the avant-garde. The local station you're listening to, please spread the word about it. Please spread the live links. Please spread the link to the podcast. Please spread the link to everybody you know to Infowars.com/show with the audio and video feeds. And please go to Infowars.com/app on your Android or your Apple device while it's still available and get our new official app that works so great and so amazing. Go look at all the great attributes and then tell everybody you know, go get the free app. Get the free app, Infowars.com/app. We're going to send it out on our newsletter today, Infowars.com/newsletter. But whatever you do, go there, get it, It's free. You are unstoppable. You can stop their algorithms. We have our own streams, our own video feeds, our own platforms. And we're here talking about what's really happening. We're here day one exposing the illegal FBI Clinton cabal of hatchet men and women to shut down Trump and to illegally surveil him and try to remove him. And they denied all that. It's confirmed they surveilled him. Hell, I was reading Politico yesterday. It had the headline, Mueller listening to Manafort's phone calls and using it to try to block his legal strategy. That's totally illegal. But they put it in the news to set the precedent to do stuff like that. We are in a new world, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, I'm going to play a compilation of Trump talking about CNN being fake news. Hey, just because somebody calls you fake news, does it make you fake news? No, the fact that you're known liars that are anti-American scum, that makes you fake news. In fact, we have time to go out with a little Mars attack montage where we equate the aliens saying, don't run, we're your friends with CNN. Yeah, let's go ahead and go out to break with that right now because it says it all. And then please, feel free to, I'm going to retweet this video of CNN being fake news. Hope everybody shares it at Real Alex Jones right now. Here it is.
A lot of his supporters believe that we are the enemy of the American people, and that is really, really an awful situation. We are not the enemy of the American people. We love the American people. We are not the enemy of the American people. We love the American people. We love the American people. We love the American people.
They came in peace.
We are not the enemy of the American people. We love the American people.
They're trying
This is CNN.
to tear down our borders. They're trying to cause race war. They're trying to stop us from getting paid our fair share out of NATO. They're trying to screw us over because they were hired and trained by multinationals to capture this country via corporate social takeover in their own words. But now America is awake. Europe is awake. Latin America is awake. Everybody's waking up to the corporate colonization that's going on and the corporate system of neo-colonial rule. Everyone knows what's happening now who has a brain. And so the globalists are going to get a lot nastier before they give up. But in the end, they're going to have to give up because the worm has turned. They're on the wrong side of history. There's been a global political realignment to crony capitalism. We'll be back with hour number 2. Stay with us.
The President of the United States.
The U.S. President is Donald Trump.
Alexa, who's the President of the United States? Donald J. Trump. Stay with us.
The resistance.
All right, I promise next segment I'm going to get into the highlights of the incredible Strzok and other FBI creatures that have been Democratic hatchet men. They're not really FBI agents that have been grilled in Congress today. It's amazing. It's coming up next segment. But if you just joined us, they have Sacha Baron Cohen stalking InfoWars. And I'm exclusively now learning that this has been going on for 6 months. We're putting the pieces together. And it's all confirmed. Breitbart's got it. He's been going around like an InfoWars listener, dressed up in InfoWars T-shirts, bumper stickers. It's not just the stickers on his laptop. He's been saying he's an InfoWars supporter and then saying horrible racist stuff. You've got CNN calling for us to be banned off Facebook. And once that precedent's set, it's everybody. Facebook says we're already censoring him down to nothing. That's why you got to actually go to Infowars.com. But imagine, just if you say somebody's fake news like CNN executives do, when they're really the fake news, does that mean just it happens? It's tortious interference. It's criminal war against other people's free speech. It's racketeering on its face. So here's the president really calling out who the fake news is.
Sit down. Sit down.
Just because of the attack of fake news and attacking our network, I just want to ask you, sir.
I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
Hit pause. Back it up. Start over again. Hillary created the term. They ran with it. Then everybody goes, okay, what's real, what's fake? We think you're the standard of fake news, CNN, along with MSNBC and NPR. I mean, you're famous for being a bunch of pack of liars who think everybody's asleep and you rule on America. And so then you're like, how dare you call us fake news? You little cockroach. You are fake news. Here it is.
Sit down. Sit down.
Just because of the attack of fake news and attacking our network, I just want to ask you, sir.
I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
Go ahead.
Real news, Mr. President. Real news. Aren't you concerned, sir, that you are undermining the people's faith in the First Amendment, freedom of the press? The press.
No, criticizing you is not violent First Amendment,
you
turd.
don't like fake news.
And I want you all to know that we are fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony, fake.
Hey, pause again, please. Think about how they always say Trump's violating the First Amendment, saying they're lying about him. Then they're calling for everybody to be shut down and off the air. Again, they're the authoritarian danger to the First Amendment. They're the enemy. And then they say us saying they're liars is violating the First Amendment. You little lying roach. We're just countering you, you dirtbag, you anti-free speech maggot, owned by foreign Chicoms. Go back to this piece of crap.
A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people.
Damn right.
It's a disgrace what took place. It's a disgrace, and I think they ought to apologize to start with Michael Cohen.
Sir, since you're attacking us, can you give us a question?
Go ahead.
No, Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
President-elect,
go ahead.
Since you are attacking
no,
our news
not you.
organization,
Not you.
Can you give us a chance?
Your organization is terrible.
You are attacking our news organization.
Your organization
Can you give
is
us a
terrible.
chance
Let's
to
go.
ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir,
quiet. Quiet.
Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead. She's asking a question. Don't be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state?
America's closest allies were frustrated with you and angry with you, and that you were angry with them, and that you were leaving here early to go meet for more friendlier talks with Kim Jong-un in Singapore. And I'm wondering if you view it the same way, and do you view the U.S. alliance system shifting under your presidency away?
Who are you with, out of curiosity?
CNN.
I figured. Fake news, CNN. The worst. But, you know, I could tell by the question. I have no idea you were CNN. After the question, I was just curious as to who you're with. You were CNN. I would say that the level of relationship is a 10. But if you go, as an example, you're CNN, I mean, it's story after story after story is bad. I won. I won.
Welcome back. I'm Alex Jones, your host, Infowars.com, Newswars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, the most hated, dreaded sites in the world by communists, by globalists, by pedophiles, by scum, by organized crime, by megabanks, loved by freedom lovers all over the planet, loved by patriots, loved by Christians, loved by gun owners, loved by common sense, red-blooded humans. And I am just very honored that CNN and others are calling for us to be completely banned off the internet. Already covered that last hour. Sacha Baron Cohen, we learned, tried to lie to us just like Sarah Palin 6 months ago, saying, oh, it's a story about Trump people versus other folks. And it's a very fair and balanced program. And I said, oh, like Homeland that's tailored around lying about me? I said, go fly a kite. Well, I reportedly, according to sources, they did do a partial infiltration of InfoWars. Not the office, but through some of our sources. And I may be revealing some of that very, very soon. Obviously, people signed non-disclosures. But if they've been involved in fraud and if Cohen lied to them, we're going to get them some lawyers, and we'll be able to get around all that very easily because Sacha Baron Cohen is a fake news fraud. He isn't a comedian. He goes out and defames people and then hides behind entertainment. And then they source what he says about me and other shows say about me and then use that to try to take us off the air. So that's coming up. But the good news is GOP lawmakers threaten FBI agent Peter Strzok with contempt for refusing to answer questions about Mueller probe. Same thing with Orr. U.S. Marshals serve subpoena on Mr. Ed. I mean, FBI lawyer Lisa Page. Wilbur. Goodlight says threatening to hold her in contempt. So let's go ahead and go to the congressman letting her know how the cow ate the cabbage, or I guess how the horse ate the cabbage. Here it is.
Order.
That may be, but I appeal your ruling.
The gentleman is not recognized.
Just take back over your time and just fire away.
Knowing this, will you answer the committee's question as directed, or do you refuse to answer the committee's question?
Mr. Chairman, as you know, counsel for the FBI has directed me not to answer questions about the ongoing investigation. As you also know, counsel for the FBI is sitting here behind me. May I consult with them?
You may consult with your own counsel.
But I may not consult with the FBI's counsel?
Only with your own counsel.
Look at what a weasel that enemy is.
Mr. Chairman, there's no basis for that.
Back it up. If you want to see the enemy of the country, they always have this. They can be black, white, Hispanic. They have this arrogance, they're going to show America. They're the bosses. They're in charge. This is the guy. He later testifies that he was never biased in his history at the FBI. He's like, insurance policy. He won't be president. We're going to stop him. Hillary's the president. Covered up the Hillary investigation. And then he sits there, this arrogant little rat bastard. And with his ugly girlfriend, and I don't just mean that to be, I mean spiritually ugly. It just shows what a bunch of broke back, stupid rats they are. And they've all got chips on their shoulders because Peter Strzok looks like somebody nobody want to go have a beer with. His wife or his girlfriend looks like somebody basically, you know, gets her meals out of cat boxes. And you just look at these culturally, spiritually dead people, and you know why they want to piss on us. Because they hate real Americans, folks. I mean, these people are trash. And the reason I say that is, as a strong, successful person my whole life, I always cared about everybody and didn't feel like I wanted to put people down. But when you are a piece of garbage like them, they want to hurt everybody and be on top. They're like Eddie Haskell on PCP. But I'm going to stop. Just if you're a radio listener, you can't see it. It's probably a good thing. Just this lying anti-American person that hates the American voters, all of them. Just look at these little nobody weasels. They're the scum that the Chi-Coms and the globalists and the big banks in Hollywood could hire to F this country over. And it feels so good to see them circling hell. No, I mean, this is what's been beating us. It's like the Bible says in Revelation when they finally captured the devil and put him in a cage for 1,000 years. People come and look at him and they say, this is the thing that almost destroyed everybody? Look at Hillary. Look at Weinstein. Look at Obama. These people, these are the people holding us back? Move, bitch. Get out the way. Move out the way, bitch. Get out the way. I don't usually use mild, unfamily-friendly stuff, but when the shoe fits, I want to go out with the intro of Ludacris, Move Bitch. It was a theme song for the campaign, and it's too good to not play. Booty, 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 booty. You see them headlights? You see me knock them curtains down? Who bought them TVs, bitch? Tell me that. Excuse me, I'm having a little bit of fun here. Go back to that weasel. Put him back up there. I apologize for the family show. I'm not doing any more. Go ahead.
Only with your own counsel.
Mr. Chairman, there's no basis for that. He can consult with the FBI counsel. He's an FBI employee.
The gentleman is not recognized.
Look at that smile.
And the chairman is not being proper.
The chairman is being proper.
The witness can't be directed not to confer with his attorney.
The FBI is not his attorney. His attorney is seated behind him. If
Look how
he's
the
an
Democrats all
employee
look
of
like
the
criminals.
FBI, he's already done, he may do so.
And his attorney may consult with the FBI
Pause
attorney?
again. Notice why he can confer with the other person's attorney, because they're all in a 43-person cabal against America with those pieces of trash that control the blue cities. And San Francisco's losing all of its conferences now because there's so much feces and vomit and heroin needles. ABC News 7, San Francisco losing lucrative convention industry because of streets filled with needles and feces. Everywhere you run things, it's little demonic pig creatures feeding on a bunch of slaves. Good God. Let me stop right there. Let's just go back to these people. Just looking at Democrats does this to me. Go ahead.
Isn't the privilege that of the FBI, and shouldn't the FBI counsel be solicited on that point?
You just take back over right now. Just let Trey have it. Let's just get this out. Let's just get this out, and then we'll go back here and forget it.
Mr. Chairman, My counsel has reiterated that counsel for the FBI has directed that I may not answer that question.
Mr. Strzok, in a moment, we will continue with the hearing, but based on your refusal to answer the question at the conclusion of the day, we will be recessing the hearing, and you will be subject to recall to allow the committee to consider proceeding with a contempt citation.
A point of order, Mr. Chairman. Will the committee also consider contempt for Mr. Bannon, who refused to answer Mr. Gowdy's questions when he was actually under subpoena?
That is not a proper point of order in this hearing.
Parliamentary inquiry.
Mr. Gowdy, do you remember
Parliamentary inquiry.
The time is controlled by the general.
Now go back to Strzok, the last point when he's looking at the chairman. He's literally like a demon rat going, I almost had America. I'll get you, Americans. F you. It's I run it. I can control it. Not you. All sold out to foreign powers, all sold out to Chi-Coms. Look at him. Look at those devil eyes. It's my country. Your mother's in hell. We control everything. Yeah, you don't control nothing. The spirit is rising. You're going down. Well, Larry Grafwald was a Green Beret, highly decorated in Vietnam, a patriot going to college, and the Weathermen were actually at his college, openly trying to recruit military members at the time for their whole Maoist operation. And he got into their organization. They were openly talking about how they were going to take over the schools, create a race war, put 50 million people in camps, kill 25 million. We'll play the clip coming up later. And you know the great part about it, we all live forever. I'm my great-great-grandparents. My children will be me as long as we go on. So Larry Grafwald's with us now in the body of Lindsay Grafwald. And, of course, her mother's with her as well. That's how this works, this magic of life. And she goes out to prayer vigils. She's been to a bunch of these where sometimes there's 50 or 60 of them. Sometimes there's just 7 or 8, looks like in the video I saw this weekend. And Antifa came in. Looks like, you know, you've got a transsexual there leading them in their prayer meeting. It's open to everybody. A lot of liberals actually come out there, classical liberals who are for free speech. And here comes, looks like about 15 thugs to then mainly attack women and a transsexual and a Hispanic man. And then, of course, they fight them off and they leave. So it is interesting to see the tranny beat up 4 or 5 of them. Oh, by the way, Facebook bans us, and so does when we use the word tranny, because they say that's a word Twitter voted to say is mean. I'm not being mean to anybody. That's the term they came up with. I'm using it. Transsexual, whatever. I don't care what you are. Just don't teach it to kids, whether it be heterosexual, whatever it is. That's a side issue. If you're a TV viewer, you can see all this. I'm describing it for radio listeners. A lot of people email us, and they go, why is Jones describing everything on air? Because we're on almost 270 radio affiliates, and it's a huge audience, and it's bigger while people are listening than all the other streams, TV stations, everything. So I'm kind of narrating for folks when things aren't radio friendly. That's what's happening. We pioneered simulcasting radio on TV. So that's what we do, because it's very confusing when I'm talking about something and not describing it. So she joins us in the middle of the left saying, ban InfoWars, ban Trump off Twitter. We've got all this craziness going on right now. It's all up on Infowars.com. And Lindsay joins us. She goes out there. And, again, this happened in Portland a month ago. They beat up a bunch of men, women, and children. There's only a few men there at a prayer vigil. So then a few dozen men like Rufio show up. And even though they're 10-1, they beat the butts of those guys. And so, again, these are all in blue cities where the police stand down and allow this to happen. It's very, 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 very shameful. And I don't know where on earth you get men that are willing to attack women. I mean, you see the left claiming they love women, they're going to take care of women, and all men are bad. But then it's the left I always see when I was trying to get into Trump's inauguration that was attacking women trying to get in. So there's just something about these cowards and I guess they thought when they punched the large transsexual that it was a woman, because then the transsexual, proving it's a man, beats up a bunch of them. So you can't make this up. Transsexuals beating him up, one guy beating a bunch of women beating him up. Lindsay Grafwald, we salute you. We appreciate your courage. Thanks for coming on to tell us what happened.
Thanks, Alex. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, it was crazy. And that, the transsexual, her name is Amber Cummings, and she actually threw that event in San Francisco on Saturday.
Well, good for her.
Yeah, she's out with us on the street. She was in Portland with me and Joey and Rufio and all of us up there last month, which was really crazy. And I can watch that video clip of Rufio knocking that guy out over and over again, and it never gets old. So yeah, we went out there. We've been planning a prayer vigil for Tommy Robinson for over a month, and as you see, we had a very small group of people that came out, but we hadn't even been there for 10 minutes, and literally there were already people trying to attack us. Part of this event is not on video. Nobody got it on video, but Amber actually knocked one of the Antifa guys in the nose, and I believe she probably broke his nose because he was pretty bloody. And that was before he came back with this group that you're showing. They literally came back about 10 minutes later, and they were obviously there to fight. And we called the cops. The cops took about 30 minutes to get there, which was, you know, a pretty typical in these blue cities. But San Francisco's usually been pretty good to us, so we were kind of surprised that it took so long for them to show up. But this is what happens. This is what happens in these cities. You know, you saw it in Portland, you've seen it in San Francisco, and we've seen it in Berkeley. It happens in all these cities. And basically they're trying to shut us down, you know, at any cost. They don't want us out there, you know, talking anything that we have to say, anything that we're out there trying to promote. This particular event, they said that we were racist, that Tommy Robinson is racist, and so that makes us racist, and that was their whole reason for coming out and trying to stop us.
You know, it's amazing how within very quickly you guys meeting, they already show up, meaning they're stalking you, they're watching you, and even if folks don't want to get in the fights, when you see these events happening, you should go and wait across the street with your camera as if you're neutral, so you actually get what happens, because they attack folks that have cameras. So if you could park your car, be ready, catch it on tape, that's what we really need to get the full exchanges to document exactly what happened.
Yeah, and it's difficult, especially when you're in the mix of all of it. It's difficult to get, you know, the whole thing on video. I mean, I was videoing as well, and I didn't even, you know, I didn't even know some of the stuff happened until it was all over, because it's hard to catch everything on video. So what you just said is absolutely correct. If someone, you know, sees it and they can get in a vantage point where they're across the street and get it on video, we need to get these kind of things on video to show what's going on, because this is happening, and this is happening in cities all over the country.
There are so many videos. In fact, we should have done a compilation for the show, but it's my fault. I'm telling the crew of just search engine Antifa punching women, hitting them in the heads with bike locks, dragging them into crowds to be beating them over the head with eggs, bloodying their noses. There's new ones every few days where men walk over and just punch women in the face. It's like they pick who they think's weak. Because I've been around Antifa. They don't, other than sneaking up behind me and trying to hit me with clubs, so I attack them so they can shoot me, because they bring guns out here in Austin. They always seem to target who they think is weak.
Yes, they always go after the weakest. And of course, when in a situation where we have, especially in San Francisco, where you have, you know, a few women and then there's a few men, the men, of course, are always going to try to be out there to protect the women. So when they go after the women, you know, everyone kind of goes over to the woman or whoever's getting attacked, and then that also distracts other people, and then other people come in. I mean, it turns into, like, well, as you saw, you can see it in the video, it turns into a brawl, you know, a brawl. And it's amazing that encounter went on for probably a good 5 minutes. I mean, I don't know, I'm kind of guessing. And nobody, I mean, people stood around. You can see in the background, you can see people walking by and just standing around, and you know, it's like, you know.
And even though they look like they're 4-to-1 to you, every time a woman or a man punches one, they run, then more gang up. I mean, these are the archetypal wimps. Who attacks women? Everyone knows it's the bad guys.
Right. Right. And they do. They always go after the weaker ones, the women, or if they think that, you know, there's a man that's weaker, they'll go after that man for obvious reasons.
I've seen them do it, people in wheelchairs. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Don't they know they're summoning the whirlwind, though?
I mean, I think that they should realize by now, I mean, what's happening is that you have people that are seeing this happen all across the country, and people are getting angry, and people are starting to get up and stand up, like what you saw in Portland. We had so many patriots out there in Portland, and as you see, I mean, we weren't going to take it. We're not going to take this anymore. I mean,
which means the cowards are going to bring guns next. They got caught with guns, by the way. That got hushed up in the news. So that's the problem. We'll be right back with Lindsey Grathwohl. Stay with us. And that's why Hillary and Soros and the UN and the Democrats in Congress all say they want to shut down. It's on CNN Money today. Shut InfoWars off in the First Amendment. They got law firms, University of Georgetown, saying we want Jones taken off air. It's unbelievable. The lawyers I've got it, so they've never seen anything like it. Now, Lindsey Graham-Wall's father was a great patriot, a Green Beret. They tried to recruit him into the Weathermen. He got into the highest levels while they were conducting hundreds of bombings and later helped send him to prison. These, of course, were the mentors of Barack Hussein Obama. And now we're facing this right now. And she was there in Portland 2 weeks ago and then in San Francisco this last weekend where they had a much smaller group and were attacked by vicious Antifa. And again, I would describe these prayer vigils as liberal, conservative people that believe in free speech. I mean, after all, a transsexual, was the person that actually called for the meeting for free speech. And so this is really waking a lot of people up. But, she was issuing really a dire warning earlier about how they're reaping the whirlwind. But I think they don't know what they're doing. They're being sent out with the Democrats on record. Soros funds them to get conservatives mad to come out and be violent. That's why it's critical we not be offensively violent like they tried to do in Charlottesville by colliding the two groups, which were alt-right. That's not what we are. But let's play a clip from her dad decades ago talking about her late father, talking about the Weather Underground and things they openly were talking about. Here it is.
I brought up the subject of what's going to happen after we take over the government. We become responsible then for administrating, 250 million people. And there was no answers. No one had given any thought to economics. How are you going to clothe and feed these people? The only thing that I could get was that they expected that the Cubans and the North Vietnamese and the Chinese and the Russians would all want to occupy different portions of the United States. They also believed that their immediate responsibility would be to protect against what they called the counter-revolution. And they felt that this counter-revolution could best be guarded against by creating and establishing re-education centers in the Southwest, where we would take all the people who needed to be re-educated into the new way of thinking and teach them how things were going to be. I ask, well, what is going to happen to those people that we can't re-educate, that are die-hard capitalists? And the reply was that they'd have to be eliminated. And when I pursued this further, they estimated that they would have to eliminate 25 million people in these re-education centers. And when I say eliminate, I mean kill. 25 million people. I want you to imagine sitting in a room with 25 people, most of which have graduate degrees from Columbia and other well-known educational centers, and hear them figuring out the logistics for the elimination of 25 million people. And they were dead serious.
Now, there is a new bill introduced. It's gotten almost no attention. Epoch Times has reported on it. Unmasking Antifa Act in House proposed 15-year prison term. Under the act, anyone wearing a mask who injures, threatens, intimidates, or oppresses people in the free exercise of enjoyment of any right of privilege will be imprisoned up to 15 years. Well, police blow their privilege when they unlawfully arrest or officially oppress, and they can serve 5 to 10. I think this is very reasonable. The bill proposed in the U.S. House Representative known as the Unmasking Antifa Act 2018 would seek to criminalize committing certain offenses while in disguise. I think it's a very good bill, and it needs to be supported. It's got a lot of co-sponsors, but we need to move this through the House of Representatives right now. Lindsey Graham-Wall, give us your take on this.
It's about time. It's about time. I mean, this needs to get passed. We need to get more people involved with this because these attacks are getting worse. They are getting, when I was in Portland, there's bombs being thrown at us, which, I mean, we've had that happen before in Berkeley, but these were bigger. In San Francisco, one of the things that we found out from the cops when they finally showed up was that these people that were, because there was an Occupy ICE protest down a few blocks down from where we were having the prayer vigil. And anyways, the cops told us that Antifa actually had, they described them as machetes. Okay. And so my question was, well, why can't you arrest them? Or, how is that okay for them to be carrying around machetes? And they said, well, because it was in a sheath, that was okay. So, it's only a matter of time, and we need to be able to identify these people, and these people that are committing these crimes against others need to be held accountable. And we can't do that if they're masked up. I mean, there's many times where we're not able to identify these people and they get away with it. And so we absolutely need something in place so that these people, at the very least, if they're going to go out there, they're unmasked so that we know who they are and they can be held accountable.
And let's be clear, MS-13 has been working with these folks, and their trademark's a machete. This is Austin. Owen Schroyer tried to go to a vigil for the young woman killed in San Francisco by an illegal alien, and the virtue signaling jury said, that's fine, go ahead and kill her, no jail time. When he went, they said, are you scared, boy? You're not going in. They started hitting him with clubs, brandishing firearms. I mean, this is next level. And again, Blue City Police, Austin, the average cop isn't bad here, but they follow their orders. They were right there watching this trash engage in this activity. This is unbelievable. I would never do this, but if I was there with guys with AK-47s saying you can't come on a park, the police would stop me, and they should.
Right. That's how it should be, right? I mean, and I don't understand why in these cities, I mean, especially up in Portland, and I've seen it in Berkeley, where the cops stand down. And in some cases, it even seems as though they're on the side of the Antifa side, Black Bloc.
They're definitely. Did you see the documents we got this year from the brother? When his other brother got in trouble, he got the documents, and it was all confirmed. 40-something pages of George Soros' son running in blue cities with the police. They go attack. They try to cause a riot. The police know where they're going to hit. They're even allowed to, like, throw bottles at them and stuff. It's all staged.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. This is happening in America. In America, of all places, it's unbelievable. And, these are things that, I mean, you brought up my father. I mean, these are things that my father talked about would happen. That, I mean, this is the ultimate, I mean, these are the foot soldiers that are out there shutting us down. And it's just, I don't know, it's, for
Let's
me,
be
it's
clear,
almost
your
like
father
Twilight Zone.
was there at the weathermen at the ground floor and exposed them. Now the weathermen are on top. The Antifa leaders are professors. And so this is the exact same movement.
Bill Ayers, actually, it is confirmed. He was in Berkeley on April 15th when that big, huge riot happened. He was not on the street because he's a coward, but he was in, the background helping everybody with signs and all that stuff. So yes, these people are very much, I mean, they're running the show. They're running the show. And this is what they wanted to do from the beginning is cause this kind of stuff, chaos, to eventually take over. I mean, the government, I mean, they want to basically take over the United States government. That is their ultimate goal. And right now what's happening in the cities is just unbelievable to me. Like I said, it's almost like Twilight Zone stuff, because this is stuff when I'm out there, I'm like, sometimes it's hard for me to believe that I'm even in it.
But what's it like to know that your dad was the first person to ever expose the entire plan?
Well, that's even more crazy to me. Like it's really, sometimes it's like a dream sometimes.
Well, how proud do you think your dad is of you in heaven right now?
I would hope that he's very proud. I'm sure that he would be upset. He wouldn't want me in harm's way. That would be the biggest thing. He wouldn't want me out there in harm's way, but I don't see any other choice. I mean, I feel like they are trying to shut us down at every single level. And
now they're trying to steal our rights. We're going to come back and talk about how we counterstrike, but take your dad. Notice he said, because his intel, they documented and recorded, was critical understanding the larger Chinese plan. They were funding the weathermen, we now know, as they said, to foment the collapse of the border in the Southwest. Then there'd be an emergency for the government to build centers, but it wouldn't be for the illegals, it'd be for us.
The President of the United States.
The U.S. President is Donald Trump.
Sorry, globalists, you're in checkmate. Launch the final attacks. Information, that is. Tomorrow's news today, the vaunted InfoWars. The more heat we take, the more attacks, the more I know I'm over the target. So God bless the fact that we are over the enemy, and thank God we're dropping bombs on them of truth. But we do need your support out there, listeners. And I was just asking our guest here, Ms. Grathwold, how we support her. And she goes, well, there's no real way. I haven't really thought of that. I just work during the day, and I go out and, all over the West Coast and drive for sometimes half a day to stand up at prayer vigils and watch women and children be hit over the head with bike locks and be punched in the face. But Lindsay Grathwold on Facebook, everybody should follow her there. Facebook's calling for us all to be banned because we're fake news. We don't You know, we go out and show Antifa punching women in the face. That's fake news because Antifa are sweet little meth heads. So Mike Cernovich joins us at the bottom of the next hour to get into the move to ban Antifa when they wear masks and commit crimes. That's all coming up. Just briefly, this was developed and is even authorized and FDA cleared is the term they like to use, but it's been through the FDA process for over-the-counter sale. It's just a little bit less strong than the prescription silver that is used in hospitals. And this silver, which I can't even do justice to, is $40 in stores or online or $40 to hospitals. We private label it. We can sell it for $40 if we want because there's a lot of money that went into getting FDA clearance. This is private labeled from the big company that has FDA clearance. And it's got a big, giant breakdown that is so complex with the lawyers and all the rest of it that I don't even feel like I could even go over it. Let me just say this. It's nanotech silver. It is not for internal use because silver is toxic when it's done to this nano level. But let me tell you, for athletes, for people that have cuts, things on their skin, it is the next level. It is super silver wound dressing gel, trademarked, for first aid management of minor cuts, lacerations, abrasions, first and second degree burns, skin irritations. It is sold mainly to hospitals. Some medical grade stores have it. It's sold on average for $40 because, believe me, it's expensive for each tube for us. It's a big tube, 4 ounce. And I actually, I'm on the phone with lawyers and scientists today because I want to get this exactly right when we say what we can say. I've got an approved breakdown on super silver wound dressing gel, and it's just incredible. It is, the number's 2,400. The stuff that's prescription's 3,200. And it's nanotech. It's from the only company that has it. It's a big company. They don't mind if I say their name, but I'm about to lower the price of it, so I'm not going to do it. In the contract we have, there isn't a map pricing. It's $29.95 out of the gates. $29.95. Super silver. This is not colloidal silver. This is not any of that. This is nanotech small silver. And I'm going to tell you again, it is not for internal use. But when all else fails, as you know, a lot of stuff isn't working now in infections. It's another weapon in the arsenal. And I can tell you right now, my dad is an oral surgeon and dentist. He still has his license, but he doesn't really practice dentistry anymore. And we were searching out the very best, most powerful silvers used by hospitals. And he ended up getting a hold of one of the top companies in the world, and it turned out they're listeners. And so a major scientist owns it. I'm going to leave it at that. We may even have him in studio and do the whole thing. But it's a well-known product sold to hospitals and clinics, and it's what people that are doctors and others use themselves. They use another solution they've developed of nanotech to flush the lines at dental offices. Let me just say, this is next level. Bacteria and viruses don't like this. And I've got a whole big list here in my stack of what is FDA, what's the term? I'm supposed to say approved because they never approve something. FDA cleared of what it knocks out. And it's incredible. But for a week, I've been trying to get exactly what I can say about it. But it is the nuclear option, okay? I'm going to tell you again, do not take this internally because it kills bacteria and viruses deader than a hammer. Like, boom. So if it ain't good for them, it ain't good for you. But if it's going to eat your leg off, it's a nuclear option. So this is, without a prescription, the strongest FDA cleared is the term. FDA cleared silver you can get. Like, we're coming out with a energy thing that is like the strongest thing out there. It's going to have warnings on the label, okay? But you want it, you got it. This is, without a prescription, just a slightly watered-down version of the top-selling prescription mega silver that is the savior now at the hospitals, clinics, you name it. Super silver. Private labeled, $10 off what it's sold for. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. And let's just say this, it's amazing. All right, I'm going to stop right there. That's how you fund our operation. We have a limited run of these. And let's just say it's very expensive for us to get because they went through the FDA approval. It's been approved for 4 years. We're now in the FDA cleared list of companies that can, there's only one other company that sells this. We are the only private labeler of it. And that's because InfoWars has a lot of friends, a lot of enemies too. This is it. I tasked my father, who's gotten stuff approved before, gotten FDA approval before with other stuff. I tasked him, I said, find me the ultimate silver. Find me what is the weapons grade they're using in the military, hospitals, you name it. This is it. There's only one other silver stronger, and it's by prescription. This is it right here. This stuff is thermonuclear. Nanotech. Super small particles, which go in electromagnetically. Well, you know what silver does. It just goes right into the heart of something and just, it's gone. All right, this segment, the next, I apologize to our guest. I'm ranting. Lindsey Grathwohl, you've got the floor to talk about any other great points you want to make, being attacked out there by Antifa, where this is going, what you expect to happen next. Go ahead.
Well, I want to talk about so I'm sure everyone's aware there's going to be a march up in Portland on August 4th with Patriot Prayer Joey Gibson, and I'm hoping to make it up there myself. But on August 5th, we are working together with Joey Gibson and Patriot Prayer, myself and Amber Cummings, who is the transsexual woman that was out there with us on Saturday. We are having a No to Marxism event that we've been planning now for a couple months in Berkeley, California. So literally we're going to be having, we're going to go up to Portland, we're going to do our thing up there, and then Joey and a bunch of patriots from up there, we're going to literally caravan back to Berkeley for the next day, and we're going to go stand in Berkeley. Part of it is going to be in honor of my father. We were supposed to have an event, that was going to be totally for my dad on August 4th, but we decided that because Joey's having his event that we're going to do the one in Portland, and then we're going to do one in Berkeley. So together, Amber and I are working on that. We have some speakers. Joey Gibson's going to be coming to speak.
Her Skype just froze up for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're going to give you her Facebook and more. This lady needs you to come out and support her. I've been really asked by a lot of patriots in the government not to go to events because there is, without getting into too many details, they're known as contracts out. But at the same time, you just can't sit here and watch these people do this alone. We need numbers out there, just like Portland. How do people join you again?
Hey, you can just come on to my Facebook page and you can follow me. And I put all the information to all the events that we're doing on my Facebook page. And we've been talking about this for a while. We tried to do a Patriot Weekend last year in August in the Bay Area. And I don't know if you remember, Alex, but it got crazy. We actually had to cancel our event in San Francisco because Nancy Pelosi and all the
she called you all
in
Nazis.
San Francisco. Yeah, and literally, they put us in a danger. They set us up. They put us in a situation.
But that's when Antifa folded nationwide, and they admitted Trump was right about it being bad. And when Pelosi had to then say, and the mayor and police chief say, Antifa is evil. So your courage, I'm not just saying it, your courage turned the tide.
Yep, and we were, it was an ugly weekend because we had the San Francisco thing, and then Berkeley we had the next day, which I went to Berkeley, and there's videos of, that was just a mess in Berkeley. There were thousands of Antifa in Berkeley that day that were beating up reporters. They were beating up, they were beating up anybody that they thought.
And that's why it backfired. For those who don't remember, let's come back and talk about that. Yeah. They went mad dogs. They had such a big crowd for the first time. They were attacking black people, white people, liberals, reporters, police. It was like just like crazy mad dogs.
Yeah, they did. And then our politicians here had to come out and call them what they were. And they've been here in the San Francisco Bay Area. They've been what I've been saying, they've been in hibernation for a little while. But we did an event not long ago. We went into Oakland, of all places, and there was a coffee shop there called Hasta Muerta, and they refused to serve police officers. So we went down there to protest them. I was with Will Johnson.
I tell you what, stay there. Back in 2 minutes, we'll finish up with you. Mike Cernovich coming up, Infowars.com. Lindsey Grathwohl is on Facebook for now. They're trying to censor everybody. She's only got 2,272 followers. She's an amazing patriot. Her father was a great American, lives on with us now. And she's out there in California, in Oregon, in Washington State, driving on her own dime and going out there, and sometimes just 7, 8, 9 of them, being attacked by 15, 20 Antifa. It's incredible. So I want men and women to come out in support of what she's doing. So again, we thought we found a GoFundMe online. I don't know if that's yours. And we did a GoFundMe for one of the guys that got charged a while back during that whole riot in San Francisco that even the Washington Post admits Antifa started. There's a Larry Graffald story. You want to raise $8,000. Is that you? We're just searching how to support you at GoFundMe. Is that you?
That is me. I actually created that a while back. Yeah, that is me.
Well, that's a shame. That's a shame. People need to make your 8,000 goal right now. I'm going to make, even though I'm not made out of money, but I gave 10,000 a few days ago to the Just Walk Away guy. Believe me, we're under a major attack, but it's the seed money of people taking action. I'm going to make a $5,000 donation today. Folks, make sure it happens. Go tell the accounting. $5,000 donation right now. But I want to see it go to 8,000 today. I want to see listeners come in for the other 3,000.
Wow, thank you so much. That's really awesome, Alex.
Thank you. Are you kidding? That. I mean, I've got my intel sources and stuff saying don't go out to these events because I'm a target. I mean, you're out there fighting the scum of the earth. So the least I can do is support to give a woman gas money and funding and things to get organized to go out and challenge scum. My God, if men won't do the job, we're going to send the women. I might as well give you the money to do it.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. Because we do. I mean, I've been this year. I've been.
Thank me, a man giving a woman money to go fight globalist scum. I mean, it's actually kind of shameful that we don't have more men out there. It was a man doing it. I give him the money. Okay. Just for my conscience, I'm doing it. You understand that, right?
I do, and I appreciate it. I mean, I travel. This year I've been to Oregon, I think 3 different times. I've been to Arizona. I got to speak in Arizona. I flew to New York to be in a documentary about Antifa.
Point is, you're taking action, so tell folks what donations can do for you.
Oh, it'll help me get from one event to another. I mean, that's all I do is, on my free time, I work 40 hours a week. So I work a regular job. I have 2 kids, I have a family. So it's like, this is like what I do in my.
And by the way, I'm going to hold you over because I'm interrupting, but biologically as a father, it's really hard for me now to put myself in danger. It's not even fear. It's fear of not being there for my kids. I have less fear as a parent, but now I have concern about them. So you're a mother on top of it, facing violent, trashy scum that attack women with bike locks. That's amazing. So again, how do people go to the GoFundMe and donate?
It's on the GoFundMe. It's under my name, Lindsay Grathwohl. You can donate there. I appreciate all the help I can get. And Alex, you know what about that? I feel like, I guess I'm a lot like my father. Like, I feel like I cannot sit back and watch all this happen and not do anything. I do worry about my children. I worry that something might happen to me, but my dad put himself in the same situation, and I worry about more what's going to happen to my kids in a country that is, taken over by Marxist communists when I'm not here anymore to help them.
That's is the key. Fear. Every time I feel guilty about what I'm doing, we're going to lose it all anyways if we don't go all in. Exactly.
Yep. And that's where I'm at. And that's why I'm doing what I do. And my family, my mom sometimes cries because she knows what my dad went through. She knows what I go through, and she doesn't want that, anything bad to happen to me. But I feel driven. Like this is so important.
Well, it brings tears to my eyes.
I'm doing it for my kids.
The answer, your mom's great, is she needs to get involved. Everybody sees people like you targeted and bullied. We have to all get involved. That's the answer.
We have to, and we have to stand up, and we have to tell them no. I mean, we're not going to allow this to happen. We're not going to allow them to take over, and we are not going to stand by and let them go out and shut down our freedom of speech.
You're right. Stay there. Let's come back with a few more comments from you ahead of Mike Cernovich. Stay with us. Vaporizing globalist. All right, I've got a raft of clips from the incredible testimony of Strzok and Orr and others today in Congress. And I've been ranting here because this stuff gets me so wound up. Lindsay Grathwohl, daughter of Larry Grathwohl, is our guest. She goes out and faces Antifa. Usually 10, 15, 20 of them get attacked by a whole bunch of them. Then later, patriots come out. But it just shows, even here in Austin, we try to go cover a pro-gun rally now. And we'll be met on the street by guys with guns saying you can't come in. It's just insane. So other points you want to impart to folks, Lindsay?
The main thing, I mean, right now, we really want to get, anyone that can come out and support us up in Berkeley, California on August 5th. We definitely want to get people out there. Like you said earlier, it's numbers. We need people out there to support us because they come out in droves. And I mean, we've seen it multiple times. Portland's probably the most recent one that was a complete riot. And we'll be going back up to Portland again too. I mean, I was hoping, you know, to hopefully make it up there, and I'm planning on it. So, and then after that, you know, we're just going to keep on pushing. We keep on doing events. We're not going to let them silence us. In fact, the more that they push back at us, the more that we're going to come out and we're going to keep on having our events, because we feel like we have to. The minute we stand down and get silent is the minute that they win, and we can't let that happen, because there's way too much at stake. You know, and like I said earlier, it's about my kids. It's about the future for my kids. I mean, my son has gotten, you know, issues simply because, you know, he's conservative like me. He's 11 years old. You know, and that's only going to get worse if we allow this kind of stuff to happen. So, I mean, August 4th up in Portland, August 5th in Berkeley, those are two big events that we're going to be having, and I hope that people come out. I know not everybody can, and I know not everybody wants to because they're afraid, you know, but I want people to understand, you know, it is scary. It is scary. I get scared too, but we have to stand up for what we believe in. I mean, we have to. Otherwise, we're going to lose it. And to me, that's becoming a reality. Like, I'm seeing all of our the rights that we have, you know, everything is slowly being taken away from us. And especially living here in California. I mean, I'm in California, and they are, I mean, I live in I call it Commifornia. It's a communist state. And it's slowly happening around the rest of the country. And eventually it's going to hit you. And I tell people all the time, don't wait until it comes to your doorstep. You got to get out there and you got to fight somehow. If you don't want to get in the street, then get involved somehow, some way, you know, to do something that you know, maybe get, you know, politically get involved. I don't know how people.
The bottom line is the fight for this country with foreign corporations and the Chinese communists admittedly owning Hollywood. This country is fighting for its life right now. And we really appreciate what you're doing. We want to support you. I'm going to make that donation to your GoFundMe. Everybody should do it right now. They just go to GoFundMe and type in the Larry Grafwald story. Grafwald is Grathwohl story. And we really appreciate you, and God bless you. We appreciate your courage.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you. And listeners, I know I go to you each day and say, support our local radio stations, support InfoWars, support this guest. It's whatever you feel called to support. Just know this. We understand the cost. We've put ourselves on the line because what's coming is far worse than what we're currently in. So that's what it comes down to. And I just want to thank you all, and I appreciate you all for your support. Now, we've got a bunch of these clips. My God, I'm looking at these clips. We've got hours of clips from the congressional hearing today with Strzok and Orr being grilled, and GOP lawmakers threaten FBI agent Peter Strzok with contempt for refusing to answer questions. U.S. Marshals serve subpoena on FBI lawyer Lisa Page. Says that they're threatening to hold her in contempt. I mean, it's all crazy. But I've got like 20 minutes of Gowdy, but here's the last few minutes of him grilling these guys. And then we've got Mike Cernovich coming up. But let's go to some of this now. Here it is.
100 million to zero, Agent Strzok. That's how bad she should win.
Mr. Gowdy, those personal expressions of my observing the political process of the presidential primaries.
Again. Start at the beginning. See, I got to walk out of the room. I'm going to interrupt. We have a 5-minute, 9-second clip of Strzok saying he's never used his bias in a case when he's saying, I hate Trump, we will stop him, insurance policy, he'll never get in, Hillary's the president. I mean, we have him. This is perjury again, but he's such a little arrogant piece of crap who just lies with contempt and pleasure. Start over, sorry.
100 million to zero, Agent Strzok. That's how bad she should win.
Mr. Gowdy, those personal expressions of my observing the political process of the presidential primaries
while you pledged
had no
to destroy
bearing
Trump
on my actions of any investigation, to include the investigation of Secretary Clinton.
You couldn't think of
or anybody else. Sir,
you couldn't think of a single person that would not vote for Hillary Clinton for president? 100 million to zero, Agent Strzok?
So that was clearly hyperbole, which I...
Well, let's say it was hyperbole. Let's divide it by 10.
And pause again. This guy is a sycophant who called her the president, who covered up Russiagate, who covered up Servergate. He was the little handled butt boy, her groom of the stool, and now he says he wasn't politically motivated. What? Look at the face of the traitor. Look at the face of the scum they have to get to betray this nation. Thank God we're on to you. Continue.
Plus hyperbole. Let's divide it by 10. How about we say it was hyperbolic and divide it by 10? 100 million divided by 10, I'm pretty sure is 10 million. 0 divided by 10 is still 0. You couldn't think of a single solitary person that was going to vote for her for president before you interviewed her and while you were supposed to be investigating her.
Congressman, clearly that's not the truth. Clearly, I could envision millions of Americans who were likely and did vote for then.
Well, you wrote it.
My point, sir.
Did you write it?
Sir, I run America.
I did write that, sir.
Okay. Were you under duress?
Political expression engaging in hyperbole.
Were you under duress?
Asked and answered over and over again.
While he was running a political operation.
The gentleman from South Carolina controls the time.
All right, we're going to go into one other time period. May 17th, 2017, Bob Mueller is appointed. Your friend Jim Comey's been fired. He's already leaked the memos to his law professor friend, and Mueller is special counsel.
And then lied about it.
Do you remember how long it took for you to start talking about impeachment after Bob Mueller was appointed?
I don't, sir.
1 day. 1 day. And you were talking about impeachment. And for anyone who may have missed it the day after his appointment, Agent Strzok, you did it again 5 days later. Now, how many interviews had you done as part of the special counsel team within the first 5 days of his appointment?
Sir, again, same answer as before. I can't get into details.
Right, and the answer is also the same. It's 0. No interviews had been done.
I don't know if that's true or not.
No interviews had been done by August the 8th when you're talking about stopping him and how terrifying it would be for him to win and how you can protect the country.
He's not going to get elected.
No interviews have been done before you're talking about impeachment of the president. But no wonder
Chairman.
Bob Mueller kicked you off of the investigation, Agent Strzok. My question is, if you were kicked off when you read the text, shouldn't you have been kicked off when you wrote them?
Not at all.
Well, it wasn't the discovery of your text, Mr. Strzok. It was the existence of your bias that got you kicked off.
No, Mr. Gowdy, it wasn't. I do not have bias. My personal opinions in no way.
Well, then why did you get kicked off? Why'd you get kicked off?
Mr. Gowdy, my understanding of why I was
he got
kicked off
caught.
was that based on understanding of those texts and the perception that they might create is something that
hang on a
Special
second,
Counsel
Agent.
Mueller-
We will stop the president. He'll never get elected. We're going to get him.
Saying it was the perception.
We'll go to break right here. We got more coming up. Then Mike Cernovich joins us. Infowars.com, newswars.com, the forbidden sites. They hope you don't visit the new free app, Infowars.com/app. So we're going to play for you Peter Strzok, who is the most arrogant creature you could imagine. This is the type of trash that Rosenstein, that looks like a demon and acts like a demon, and Mueller, that looks like a mummy, and all the crimes they've committed and all the dozens of texts. We'll stop him. He'll never get in. He's a danger. Hillary's the president. We'll keep him from getting in office. Once he's in office, we'll stop him. And then he gets up in a 5-minute statement. For TV viewers, I'll be putting his quotes up from the text messages while he talks. This is like somebody saying that they like to play football and then say they've never seen a football game. I mean, he's in this 1,000%. He's a Democratic operative. He covers up for Hillary. He's the little special minion that does all this in all these investigations. And now he's telling you it's preposterous. I did none of this political. My Mueller and Rosenstein and all of this is completely normal. Let's go to it right now.
I testify today with significant regret.
Sorry, pause again. I've got it on my phone here, a photo of Howdy Doody, Rosenstein, where he looks so satanic. Not just his actions, but the way he looks. I'm going to pull that up. But for TV viewers, we're going to be blowing up the faces of the FBI people behind him that walked in with him. Look at these people. They just hired the most weak, stupid followers. All of them look like you wouldn't let them babysit your children. All of them look like deranged loons from a Hollywood movie. This guy, all of them. I mean, I would cast them in a movie as really bad guys. And it's not just how they look, it's how they act. But, I mean, it's ridiculous. They're not square-jawed FBI agents. Hey, well, somebody plugged my phone in. I forgot to do it. There's my plugs over here somewhere. Here it is. I'm going to plug this baby because I'm going to pull up the Rosenstein photo. It's like a really cheesy one where he's going like this from the side going. But again, in their little delusional world, they're part of the power structure. They feel invincible. They love ruling over America. It gives them this, and selling us out to foreign interests is a bigger thrill. So let's hear him lie to Congress, lie to you, when on its face, you found it. Good Lord, look at that. Look at that. That Clinton operative taking over the Justice Department from Trump, all of it, and then look at that crazy mad dog Robert Mueller creature. That's a creature of the Clintons, of Mueller, of all of them. And just and everyone grovels to him in D.C. Oh, you're law enforcement. Oh, you could arrest me. Oh, you could indict me. And then they're in the news saying, we're spying on Manafort, and we know about his defense plans. I'm like, wow, you're spying on Manafort in jail and his defense plans. That would be a scandal 5 years ago. But it's just the mad dog craziness of this guy that doesn't get he's already been defeated. So let's hear from his minion, Peter Strzok, right now. Here it is.
I testify today with significant regret, recognizing that my texts have created confusion and caused pain for people I love.
Oh.
Certain private messages of mine have provided ammunition for misguided attacks against the FBI.
Zoom in on those two guys behind him.
That I love deeply and have served proudly.
You mean the Clinton hatchet men in the FBI?
I'm eager to answer your questions, but let me first address those much discussed texts. Like many people, I had and expressed personal political opinions during an extraordinary presidential election.
I'm glad these guys are all there to give him comfort. I'm sure they do a lot of the time.
Concern for the security of our country. Opinions that were not always expressed in terms I'm proud of.
Show the one behind him, yeah.
But having worked in national security for 2 decades and proudly served in the U.S. Army,
national security,
those opinions were expressed out of deep patriotism and an unyielding belief in our great American democracy.
I love that big old earring and the one on the far left. Zoom in on him.
Criticism was blunt. But despite how it's been characterized, it was not limited to one person or to one party. I criticized various countries and politicians, including Secretary Clinton, Senator Sanders, then candidate Trump, and others. But let me be clear, unequivocally.
That's not an earring. I guess that's like a...
Not once.
Vampire ears?
26 years of defending our nation did my
so that's vampire ears. I wonder what he does at the office. Let's get... There's Sweetie Cake. And then who's this one?
This is email investigation. For the investigation
is that Dennis Hastard's son?
And for every other investigation I've worked on. It is not who I am, and it is not something I would ever do.
Not who I am. I'm Strzok. I rule America. He's showing you, see, I'm Strzok. Hillary's my God. Our force will soon destroy America.
No evidence of bias in my professional actions. There is, however...
There's no evidence of bias. We will stop him from being elected. We will have an insurance policy. He's a threat. She's the president. We will stop him. There's no bias. You're trying to sabotage the election, you goddamn traitor. Delay that for the stations. Go back to him.
Important piece of evidence supporting my integrity, the integrity of the FBI.
My integrity?
And our lack of bias.
I've got the entire fruit basket brigade behind me.
Summer of 2016... I was one of a handful of people who knew the details of Russian election interference and its possible connection.
He states that like it's a fact.
Campaign. This information had the potential to derail and quite possibly...
Oh, my God, we had a good time last night.
But the thought of expressing that or exposing that information never crossed my mind. That's what FBI agents do every single day, and that's why I'm so proud of them. And I'm particularly proud of the work that
Particularly proud that you're the Praetorian Guard. Our Praetorian Guard looks like they couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag.
Investigated competently, honestly, and independently, and that's exactly what happened.
How proud his little buddy is behind him.
I'm also proud of our work on the Russian interference investigation.
Friend.
This is an investigation.
Zoom in on that guy's mouth, the other one. The little goblin one, yeah. Zoom in on his mouth.
And it is
He's
no
so
less
proud of his daddy.
Because it was launched against our democratic process.
My daddy will beat him.
Rather than against the military.
My daddy always wins.
This
Mueller told me that time in the hotel room
of all
when we were meeting about politics.
In the summer of 2016, we had an urgent need to protect the integrity of an American presidential election from a hostile foreign power
we can't beat this.
Weaken and divide the United States of America.
This is the
This
FBI.
investigation is not politically motivated. It is not a witch hunt. It is not a hoax.
Yes, it's all real. Trump's trying to make America great again. We sold out the Chinese. He's the enemy.
An ongoing investigation. Where the FBI has directed me not to answer, I will abide by the FBI's instructions. But let me be clear. This is not because I don't want to answer your questions.
Oh, of course.
If I were permitted to answer, I would. And the answers would doubtless be disappointing to the questioners and undermine the conspiracy narrative.
Turn him off. Oh, the conspiracy theories. Questioning known liars like you. I was just making jokes about these guys. They just look ridiculous. I saw a couple of those guys walking in with him, though. I mean, that's who Strzok could get to walk in with him. So I got to give him some courage right there. All I can say is ramming speed. All power to the engines. Attack course. We'll be right back on the other side with Mike Cernovich, Infowars.com, Newswars.com. Infowars is the dreaded, vaunted enemy of tyranny.
Finish him.
Antifa!
Flawless victory.
Mike Cernovich joins us for the balance of this hour. It's gotten almost no attention. I didn't even know a bill had been introduced a month ago that if Antifa commits civil rights violations, crimes, with a mask on, they get 15 years in prison. That's pretty normal under aggravated assault type laws. Like if you rob a bank with his mask, it's even more time. Instead of 15 years, like 30 years. And so I saw the story in the Epoch Times. We'll put it up on screen. And they mentioned that Mike Cernovich had been promoting it. And so many times, you know, Mike's kind of that catalyst there that helped take something to the next level. As Mike pointed out to us that you know, we had Bill Clinton coming to town a few weeks ago. So I wanted to get Mike on about this because Antifa's getting more aggressive, more vicious. They're attacking more. The left's trying to cause a civil war. And what does he think the next shoe to drop is? So, Mike, thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah, my pleasure. This is an important law that treats Antifa what they are, which is they are the modern KKK. They are a modern terrorist hate organization. They've said that they are pro-pedophile. They've said that they hate and want to kill all people who voted for Trump. They've announced their intention to destroy America internally. So they are being treated as they should be treated, which is as terrorists.
Well, let's talk about this bill. Again, it's from Epoch Times. It's on your website as well. It's on Infowars.com. But let's talk about the Pacific Bill, Unmasking Antifa Act. And House proposes a 15-year prison term if you beat people up or attack them when they're exercising their free speech. I mean, that's exactly what the Klan did for folks that didn't know in the 20s and 30s and 40s when it was actually powerful, was suppress sharecropper whites and also blacks from voting or having demonstrations. They were an anti-free speech intimidation arm.
Right. The law is, again, flew under the radar. Ironically, I only learned about it because unlike liberals, I follow everybody. And I saw that a far left-wing activist / journalist has said, I can't believe Congress is considering that. And I go, oh, well, thank you. Thank you for the tip-off. I actually had no idea. So we've had thousands of people. Yeah, Jack Smith actually had tipped everybody off. He has a very obscure account, but I like to follow those obscure accounts to really know what the far left is thinking. And I was like, oh, okay, let's talk about this a little bit. And thousands of people have called Congress and have said this is way past due because the reason they wear masks is so you can't find them. So a lot of hullabaloo is being made about the fact that all of the charges in the Disrupt J20 riots during inauguration were dismissed. And people go, oh, poor Antifa, they were impressed by the government. No. They had masks on, so you couldn't tell who. Remember, they burned down a Muslim. They burned down a Muslim limo driver's car. They destroyed property of people without any regard for the safety of others, and you couldn't figure out who they were because they were all wearing masks.
Well, at the inauguration, it took us hours to get in. They were mainly beating up women and blocking the entrances so CNN could say no one was inside the inauguration.
Yeah, exactly. The deplorable. I mean, there's a number of things, actually. Just recently, for example, a Fox News reporter, she had to quit reporting outside of the Supreme Court.
She got run out of there. And that's another thing. I've tried to videotape outside the Supreme Court. Police say you have to get a permit. But all the left could show up. The police just let them do it.
Right. And then they ran off, of course, a woman. That's what they do.
All right, let's let your Skype come back. Let's let your Skype come back for a moment. Mike Cernovich is our guest. Mike, clearly they're trying to cause a civil war. They're saying surround the White House. They want to try to block the new Supreme Court nominee. When I say that they want a civil war, and they're calling it one, and even USA Today calls it a civil war, they then make a joke about it. But where would you say we are right now? And you're a smart guy. What do you think they're planning ahead of the midterms to try to derail things?
Well, what they're doing is they're energizing the terrorist element of the far left wing. They're now overtly saying that they are communists. And I predict a major terrorist attack by a far left wing element, perhaps a Democrat socialist, perhaps an Antifa element. It just really is, it's going to happen. And what they don't understand, and broadly speaking, of course, I talked to a lot of liberals, and one of the most he's a very far left guy, but he's still like a very good human being, good Christian. And he goes, you know, I just want the Civil War to get on. I was like, what are you thinking? You know, how could you think that? But that's where they are.
Why do you think while they call for civil war everywhere, when I cover it, then they say I'm crazy, it's not happening?
Yeah, then they go, you're a conspiracy theorist. But you can just go read Twitter. I love when they go, oh, Alex's July 4 tweet about a second civil war is a conspiracy theory. But if you go on Twitter and just type in civil war, you can find tens of thousands of results from people on the left saying they want a civil war.
And clearly they said this July 4th we're going to intensify attacks. They did. I'm just saying as a demarcation line, if they're successful, you can mark this July 4th as when it's going to escalate up. So, but I'm asking, what's the tactic then to call for it, but when we cover it, say it's not happening?
Well, what they're doing is they're actually gaslighting you to try to get you banned. You know, one of your competitors is like antitrust. CNN is trying to get you banned for reporting on what the left is saying. So what they're doing is they're so duplicitous that people on the far left say, we're going to intensify our efforts after July 4th. We're really going to fight hard. And then they say, oh, yeah, we're communists and we want to abolish ICE. But then the New York Times will fact check it and say, actually, Democrats don't want to abolish ICE, even though a survey just came out from a liberal publication saying that 45% of Democrats want to abolish ICE, right? So what they do, they're gaslighting us now and saying, well, I mean, even though you can show a screenshot of what they've said, even though you can show a survey, we're just going to say that that isn't really true and that nobody wants to abolish ICE. And then they're going to say, well, Facebook, you're fighting fake news. Why don't you ban our competitor, Alex Jones, from your platform, right? That's where we are. What they're doing is, they did this to me. They fact-checked me. I did an article and a video where I said that one of the school shooters, which, by the way, we all forgot about because he didn't use an AR-15, and therefore it didn't work in the agenda. The most recent school shooting, the shooter had on an iron cross, and he had on a hammer and sickle. And I said, those are symbols of the alt-right and Antifa, right? And then they fact-checked it, and the fact-checker goes, well, the hammer and sickle isn't a symbol of Antifa. Well, just you could go to Google Image and type in Antifa. Every rally they have, there are people wearing that Soviet Union stuff. And then they
exactly, they wear black, and then they wear hammer and sickles pins.
Right, so then I got fact-checked. And then I got a strike against my Facebook page because, well, you were fact-checked, sir. And then when I go, Facebook, what are you talking about? I can show you 1,000 images. Well, we've outsourced, you know, this to factchecker.org. So what FactChecker does now is they just so I might actually sue FactChecker.
They outsourced to Southern Poverty Law Center.
Right. And then they go, oh, our hands are tied. A Christian group, for example, was banned from Amazon Smiles program because the Southern Poverty Law Center now has veto control. I mean, there's so much going on, Alex.
But that's what I'm saying. Think what authoritarians, they're all over CNN bragging how they're censoring conservatives, Christians, veterans, gun groups, and sovereign groups, Taiwanese groups. Taiwanese flag is banned on Apple to be able to text it. I mean, we're under total attack, and they announce it, but then go, oh, but you're crazy, it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, everywhere you look, facts. The Alliance Defense Fund has been banned from Amazon Smiles program. That's a fact. Why? Because Amazon has delegated control over the Amazon Smile program to the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Let's come back from break and talk about how we change this, because it's such a bold power grab. If we just expose it, it will fall. Stay with us. Mike Cernovich, straight ahead. Yeah, they're trying to censor us on the web and doing a good job, but our listeners are getting around it. But we're on close to 300 radio affiliates, 400 TV stations, over 80 cable stations. And thank God to all of you. We appreciate you. Mike Cernovich is here with us, media analyst, lawyer, you name it, good friend of mine. We're going to a little bit in the next hour. And then we got Mike Adams coming in here. I have a compilation of the media attacking InfoWars, all the fake TV shows they've got, all the programs. Sacha Baron Cohen, we now know for 6 months, has been trying to infiltrate us. And been trying to like get on, because he couldn't get in the office. He got on with like guests and tried to mess with them. And I was told about this a month ago, but now I've been given the full details. So that's all coming up. But Mike Cernovich, striking back, how we win, how we take action, what Trump should do, because I'm not bragging, you're not bragging, but the White House listens to us, the campaign listens to us. What do you think we should do to strike back against all of this? And just the unbrazened, untethered attacks that we're seeing against free speech right now. Where do you see it going?
Well, unfortunately, because neither you nor I like to do election stuff, we don't endorse candidates as journalists. If America loses the House of Representatives and Democrats win in November, we're all like dead. I don't mean figuratively, Alex. I get death threats. There's an active campaign by members of the media to have me murdered, and I imagine you murdered. I've had a private security analysis conducted of me, and I've been told by people very, very high levels about chatter that they're hearing. That's what they watch.
Stay there. Your sky's breaking up, but yes. They know they put out a certain amount of propaganda against somebody. Mentally ill people will try to come kill you. Just like they advertised in the New York Times where the baseball team was playing to get Scalise shot. They were planning to take out the leadership. They're definitely doing this.
Yeah, that's their game is, they add you to the hate list. That's what the SPLC. Yeah, actually, LA Times journalist was fired.
Yeah, let's talk about this. LA Times journalist fired for death threat. Because, again, you're not even a conservative. You're more of a libertarian. They hate you because you're a likable guy.
And yeah, and that's the whole thing is I haven't even been controversial for like a year. If people wanted to criticize me, a lot of people are like, man, you're boring. You don't even do anything. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I feel the energy and we have to calm it down, or it's just going to be mass murder by the left in the street. And as you know, if the left is in the street murdering people, they will kill innocent people. They will kill children. So not only, Alex, did an LA Times reporter get fired for death threatening me, a pedophile who had organized a smear campaign against me when I spoke at Columbia was arrested for trying to have sex with an 8-year-old. This is not a conspiracy theory. These are court records.
No, that's on your Twitter, at Cernovich. And let's explain this. We'll win a physical civil war. We don't want to go down that road. So they're just intensifying the threats, the bizarre behavior, where the LA Times and others think they can threaten to kill you, and now they're shocked they're getting in trouble. So tell us about this reported pedophile.
Yeah, so in November of last year, I gave a talk to Columbia on media criticism. It was a very, very rational talk about media double standards. He organized a protest against me. Well, fast forward a few months, he's been arrested for soliciting sex with an 8-year-old. An 8-year-old, Alex. He had pictures of infants. He said he was interested in 0+. That's their code. And again, people go, oh, this is a conspiracy theory. No. This is official federal court records. I actually uploaded the full complaint.
Yeah, let's show those. And that's the thing is, they keep busting top Hillary Clinton people that are involved in children, quote, immigrating to the U.S., saying they want to have sex with 2-year-olds. So you've now exposed it. It's literally a pedophile cult.
Yeah, and not only that, yeah, but the complaint is so graphic.
And notice, none of this ever hits the news, though. I mean, Trump is busting pedophiles, what, 10 times what it was?
Yeah, exactly, all the time. And not only that, but I'm gonna send Daria a picture. They claim, oh, he had no connection to the Clinton campaign, but before he took down before he took down his Instagram, there were pictures of him at the Clinton campaign headquarters. Not only that,
sure, and in Hillary garb. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is, let me ask you, this is a smart guy and a lawyer. We know there's a lot of pedophiles, but my God, how many Democrats are? Because I'm realizing it's a cult.
Not only that, Alex, I just reported yesterday at Cernovich.com. If you go to CERNOVICH.com, I obtained court records involving a pedophile who was highly placed within the Bill de Blasio campaign. He was arrested a year ago with thousands of images of children being raped. So I go, oh, that was a year ago. I wonder if he's in jail. No. Official court records, again. Oh, conspiracy theory. No, you mean official court records? Nothing has happened in this case. So what they did, if somebody isn't a lawyer, they don't really understand what they're doing. What they did is they let him out on $7,500 bail, and nothing has happened. No trials, no nothing. He just shows up. Oh, how
Let me ask you this question. Clearly, it's how they compromise people. You've got to be in the club to be part of it. How big is it? Because we know Trump's tenfold, at least, busting pedophiles. That's why they're all panicking. Yeah, there he is, far-left worker for the Clinton campaign, running a child charity, admitting he raped children, trying to meet with 2-year-olds to have sex with them. Let's put that back up. He's the guy on the far left there. Let's name this guy. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, so this can't be denied. And then the media fact check said, oh, he's a campaign person. He's on Instagram. Crazy.
So just in a 35,000-foot view, what is the, because a normal person's like, even they're normal, like a normal straight person's into women, normal gay person's into, their own. What is this thing with children? Because it seems like every time we knock some wall down, it's a bunch of pedophiles. Like, what is going on there?
Yeah, well, there's ritualistic practices that they have, and it is it's fundamentally it's the most demonic thing you can do is to harm a child. So that's how they gain power in the Democrat Party, is they prove, because ultimately, I mean, it can't be denied anymore. Trump and the Republicans are the side of God. The Democrats are now the side of pedophiles. I mean, they're Anthony Weiner, Jacob Schwartz, Joel Davis. These aren't nobodies. These are top-level people, right? How many more do we need to see? I don't see top-level Republicans other than Dennis Hastert, who was, by the way, he should have been sentenced to death for what he did.
And we've got Lolita Express with Epstein, and we've got Hillary and her own workers bringing kids in illegally. I mean, Hillary's first job as a lawyer were 8 guys that gang raped an 11-year-old girl till her cervix broke and her guts came out. I mean, I don't want to be gross here, but, I mean, there it is. Child abuse charity had arrested for attempted child rape. Unbelievable.
In 2013, too, there was that 2013 report for like 30 seconds where even, I think it was Chuck Todd, it was an NBC report, people can find it. The State Department covered up pedophilia 2013. This is all like...
Well, sure, the UN, all of it's been caught. And so who's the Columbia University student who protested you? Because it ties into that.
Yeah, he's Joel Davis. He was the person who was just arrested. He organized a protest march against me. Remember when they held up that sign, no pedo bashing? And the media goes, oh, that was a false flag operation organized by... Because they can be conspiracy theorists, right? Oh, that was a Cernovich false flag.
But now the guy's been arrested. Let me ask you this then. When I've admitted that I had girlfriends that had abortions. I said, I repent to God. I feel bad. I haven't done it since. I got 4 children. I'm being honest, telling people that have had abortions, don't have to get into it. Don't have to say it's right. Say you're wrong, repent. I was telling that to be honest. But then the left calls in and goes, what's wrong with screwing kids if you've killed them? Well, I didn't know that was happening. I was delusional, or my girlfriends did it. I'm not saying it's okay. But then their answer is, well, it's okay to have sex with kids. That's what they're hammering me with.
Well, that's why they hate us. They hate, we're anti-war. We want freedom, prosperity. We don't want to go to war where children are murdered, by the way, in wars. So we're the party of peace. We're the party of prosperity.
That's right. Stay there. Back with Mike Cernovich in 2 minutes. Stay with us. I was talking to Mike Cernovich, who's a smart guy, media analyst, lawyer, during the break, and I said, how could they defeat us when humanity's awakening? And he said, well, they hold the keys to the kingdom. They have Apple transferred to China, now banning emojis of Taiwan, your phone crashes. They just aren't willing to implement the censorship fully because they're afraid Congress and Trump might call them out. And when I've talked to the White House and the president and his supporters lately, I've said, please, they're censoring, they're doing it, do something. They're like, well, what are they doing? Write us a report. So I'm in the process of doing that, but it's here. And so they are ready to launch on all cylinders, ladies and gentlemen. They're ready to try to shut this whole thing down right now. And so I wanted Mike Cernovich to specifically speak to that and talk to that because they've got the kill switch in place. They believe we're idiots. They're making their move. Mike Cernovich.
Yeah, they have now. YouTube has given $25 million to multi-billion-dollar corporations because somebody explained that to me. Why CNN, which is valued at $10 to $15 billion, is getting $25 million from YouTube, right? How does that make any sense? The SPLC tried to take control of Spotify and censor music. The SPLC has taken control of who can raise funds for nonprofits on Amazon. Facebook has outsourced fact-checking to websites that have been caught deliberately manufacturing and being dishonest in an effort to get people banned. One of InfoWars' competitors is actually lobbying Facebook to ban InfoWars. So everywhere you look,
that's CNN.
The Gestapo is really trying to surround the patriots, and that is why I have in-person events. We have to do more things.
What are they afraid of exactly? If the internet goes dark, we got to get Trump. What should Trump do to try to stop it, though?
Well, I mean, Trump and his people are so out of touch that they're not going to do anything, actually, even though they're the ones who are losing it. So it's fundamentally upon you and others like myself and the info warriors who are watching to take action. Trump is just out of touch. He's in a bubble. Because you got to understand, the people around Trump, they know that if the internet is censored, Trump will lose, and they want Trump to lose. So Trump is not getting, other than Don Jr., Trump is not getting a proper lay of the land of what is happening. I mean, Trump, for example, when he did a talk with Charlie Kirk, Trump goes, oh, yeah, I mean, Antifa, they're not really hurting anybody. But John Nolte of Breitbart has documented, I think, over 300 cases of violence against Trump supporters. And again, the violence is not happening against me, you know, marginal, oh, I'm such a
No, it's the average person that shows up. And then so CNN openly calling for the ban of InfoWars off the web, off Facebook, they are counting on us being country bumpkins. They're counting on us being stupid. They're smiling like a pig over a big bowl of crap, thinking we're done.
Yeah, we have to do more happy hours. We have to do more events. We have to do more live input. Like you and I, for example, we had talked about doing a premiere for Hoax, my documentary on showing who really the fake news is, which you're in. You know, we've talked about maybe doing a premiere in Austin, you know, sell 5,000 tickets or something like that. And to show people, like, because that's the thing, everywhere I go, and I've been with you in Austin, oh, how you doing? If you read the newspapers, you would think that I'm a goblin that people hide from and think I'm hiding under their bed.
But it's the opposite. But those people that are awake think we've already had the victory. No, we just started the war. Now we're out on the field in the real fight. Absolutely, exactly. Mike. It is totally on. And you know, the president has been trying to reach out to people to find out what's going on. He's figured it all out. But we've got to just, everybody should write articles, messages to the president, briefs to the president, all of you about what's happening. Reach out to him everywhere, and we're going to win. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Mike Cernovich, thank you so much. We'll be right back after this quick break with Mike Adams in studio.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
You cannot make this stuff up. And I tell you all of it. I could literally keep you here all night because the stories are just so unbelievable. This is coming to a theater near you.
Alex Jones promotes conspiracy theories and foments hatred of media. He's been called a freak show and downright dangerous.
There's a lot of controversy around this network about Alex Jones, for example. Alex Jones.
Infowars.com. I'm here to warn people. You keep telling me to shut up. This isn't a game.
But the fact is that he is an unalloyed racist, a man who's out there pulling the pin on the grenade every day, and he has 6 million viewers.
He is somebody who President Trump called after the election to thank him for his role. Trump had gone on his radio show during the campaign.
The epidemic of malicious fake news and false propaganda that flooded social media over the past year. It's now clear that so-called fake news can have real-world consequences.
People have free speech in this country, but no matter how hateful, no matter how stupid, no matter how inane, give them airtime, give them Thorazine also.
I don't like giving people like Alex Jones a platform.
If something popped up in a Facebook feed and looked like a news report, people were inclined to believe it. And if they were already targeted psychologically to be receptive to the information provided, they were influenceable.
Where are you getting this information?
From a very reputable source.
What, the FBI, the CIA?
InfoWars. It's a radio show hosted by Alex Jones. You know he's legit.
We confirm suspicions at Veritas. It's not a shock to you, but to get the employee at YouTube on tape admitting that they do it? I mean, you must be a threat if they call you out by name.
It's also what happens when you listen to the radio host, Alex Jones.
As of just a short time ago, and I'm talking about when this meeting started, on Twitter, if you clicked on the hashtag NYC terrorist attack, which is, quote, trending, marked with a red button saying, quote, live, the top tweet links to an InfoWars story with the headline, Imam, I warned de Blasio about New York City terror. He was too busy bashing Trump.
I don't know what happens in somebody's mind or how dark their heart must be to say things like that.
This is a real-time example of when we talk about this information being weaponized.
But Trump doesn't challenge these lies. He actually went on Jones's show and said,
Your reputation's amazing. I will not let you down. You will be very, very impressed, I hope.
He still calls Alex Jones and talks to him, and you know, the InfoWars
conspiracy
theories.
How quickly can you act, and what's your responsibility to set the record straight so that the people who saw this know that it's fake news, and at least at some point in time it can't keep spreading like some sort of virus through the legitimate world.
That's something we're thinking about all the time, because it's a bad user experience, and we don't want to be known as a platform for that.
The Russians ran an extensive information war campaign against my campaign to influence voters in the election. They did it through false news sites. They did it through these 1,000 agents. They did it through machine learning, which, you know, kept spewing out this stuff over and over again. And they began to have some of their allies within the internet world, like InfoWars, take out pieces and began to say the most outrageous, outlandish, absurd lies you can imagine.
Google is being accused of hiding negative stories about Hillary and her campaign by changing its algorithm to bury stories like the Clinton body count story. That's according to website InfoWars.
You have RT, you have Sputnik, you have Rupley, and then I think you have them feeding other entities. InfoWars comes to mind, where those are echo chambers.
It's been widely reported that that company's been backed by the Kremlin, and they gave you 75,000 shares that you had to disclose when you went into the Obama administration.
Maybe you're looking at widely reported information from InfoWars.
No, I'm not.
But it is not true.
This is Politico. This is the New York Times. This is the Wall Street Journal.
No, it's not.
If a Google user types in Clinton body, they get car repair shop results instead of a story that talks about a list of people tied to the Clintons who have died under mysterious circumstances over the last 3 decades. Now, the latest story was the death of DNC staffer Seth Rich, who was murdered last month in an apparent robbery. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has hinted that Rich was his source, but has made no further comments about the case. That murder, we should say, remains unsolved.
The Russians, in my opinion, and based on the intel and counter-intel people I've talked to, could not have known how best to weaponize that information unless they had been guided.
All that stuff exists. You don't see it, you don't feel it if you're largely living in reality and in a mainstream media world. But it's undermining our democracy, and I think that the companies themselves, they've taken some steps. They have a lot of responsibility.
Companies like Facebook.
Like Facebook, Google, etc.
Right.
To do what they can to essentially not enhance this.
How quickly can you act, and what's your responsibility to set the record straight?
The system self-corrected. That shouldn't be the first tweet you see anymore. It should be a USA article the last time I checked.
But you saw this.
USA Today. At lunch I did, yeah. And I also saw the system correct it.
That man's a threat to this country.
They didn't call out Fox News by name. They didn't call out anyone else by name. They said, when it comes to Alex Jones, we need people to scroll and manually find him and manually have to find that video. We're not going to allow that video, if it gets 10 million views, to be on the front of the so-called news carousel.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. It's
Alex Jones.
This is Mike Adams jumping into the seat here on an extraordinary day. Thank you for continuing with us in the 4th hour of this broadcast. We've got coming up 10 quick questions that Peter Strzok needs to be asked by Congress. I've got other lists of why we can never let leftists gain power over us again. There is a multifaceted war taking place right now against not just America, but those who are trying to defend against America. The attacks are being ramped up on InfoWars, on Alex Jones, on people like Mike Cernovich, who you just heard from, and even people like myself as well. We're all under extreme attack, and the deep state traitors and liars are sitting there in Congress or in front of Congress and telling us that they aren't biased, that they didn't do anything wrong. The very people who I believe need to be indicted, who need to be arrested and held for trial, they need to be brought up on charges for attempting to overthrow this constitutional republic, conspiracy, racketeering, the corruption, the number of violations of crime, the number of criminal violations they have engaged in is huge. Destruction of evidence. Look at Hillary Clinton destroying the evidence and getting away with it. Why? Because other people like Peter Strzok helped cover it up. And then now we learn that Peter Strzok himself got to be the one to vet which of his texts were forwarded to Congress, where the FBI under the leadership of James Comey at that time believed that it was above the law, believed that Congress has no oversight over the FBI. Get a grip on reality, people. We got to take our country back. And the only way we're going to do that is to hold these people accountable for the crimes that they have committed over and over again, and they're still lying to our faces every day. It is a parade of criminality, corruption, and incompetence. And the cost that we are going to pay if we don't get a grip on this is we're going to lose our country if we don't get a grip on it. So stay with us here, folks. We've got a lot coming up. This is Mike Adams here filling in for the 4th hour at InfoWars. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this coming break with much more straight ahead. We're fighting for everything that matters, fighting for our future. The new InfoWars official app has been launched. You can download that right now at infowars.com/app. It has major improvements, highly recommended. You can watch the live broadcast. You can see the articles in near real time as they are posted. There's a lot more on the app. It's a brand new version of the app, so check it out at infowars.com/app, APP, infowars.com/app. Now, every day that I am invited to come in here, I'm humbled by what is at stake and the fact that we need to lend a voice to the big questions here. Right now, there are 10 questions that we need to ask Peter Strzok, 10 big questions This one comes from Joe Hoft over at the Gateway Pundit right now, but there's 5 of these questions that I got to mention here. Number 1, was Jeff Sessions involved in spying on the Trump campaign? Big question. Where is Jeff Sessions? Why does he seem to be backing off of his job? Why does he almost seem complicit in this? I mean, I don't have any evidence that he's a traitor. I'm not saying he's a traitor or anything like that. But where are you, man? Jeff Sessions, you're the Attorney General. You are supposed to be issuing arrest warrants for the traitors, the deep state operatives who are trying to overthrow this country. Was Jeff Sessions involved in the spying on the Trump campaign? One key question. The next big question. This is a question that should be mentioned to Strzok or asked of Strzok. Were you or anyone you are aware of involved in the transfer of U.S. uranium to Russia? Because you know what? When you look at the Uranium One deal and you look at Hillary Clinton, you find that Robert Mueller was involved back then. And you find that the State Department was involved in some of the cover-ups related to, uranium supplies. Uranium, this is a national security interest. This is a rare element that is, of course, used for nuclear weapons development. And then we find out that Obama funneled $33.6 billion to Iran and gave them the funding and set them up with the technical know-how to build ballistic missiles and nuclear weapon delivery systems, and that he gave citizenship to a couple of thousand of Iranian nationals, and that he did all this by bypassing the international banking system and all of the chokeholds on Iran that were in place. I mean, there are some big questions here involving Barack Obama, Robert Mueller, Hillary Clinton, Peter Strzok, and Peter Strzok seems to be in the middle of all this, covering up Hillary Clinton's emails, covering up his own texts to Lisa Page, covering up the crimes of the deep state while launching this outrageous fake hoax Russia collusion narrative that itself is tearing this country apart. And I will read some of the quotes from Peter Strzok to show you how he is in a state of absolute denial about what is going on. No, actually, no, he knows. He's just lying. He is lying to you. He's lying to America. And he has been lying all day. And thank God for Trey Gowdy up there asking some tough questions and acting like the prosecutor that he has been in the past. It's time to get tough, people. It's time to realize the war is here. There is a war for America. And if you don't wake up and realize that we're fighting a war right now, a war to exist in the online space, a war for free speech, a war to protect America's borders, a war for the basic rules of law and order, because the radical left today wants absolute lawlessness all across America. It's not just sanctuary cities. It's not just the open borders. They want to shut down all the prisons and release the violent prisoners into the streets of America and probably shut down the police as well. I'll get to that. There's more coming. Here's the next question for Peter Strzok. Did you sign off on the review of the more than 300,000 emails found on Weiner's laptop in less than a week of review? I mean, who covered up the Weiner laptop emails? And question number 9 out of that list, did you see any evidence of crimes against children in these emails? Because the Inspector General notes that there were such emails found. You know what? It seems to me, and this is just an educated guess, but I'm willing to bet you that Peter Strzok is involved in the cover-up of evidence of serious crimes against children, evidence that was held by Anthony Weiner and Huma Abedin, and was probably very well known by Hillary Clinton herself. Now, that's just conjecture. I don't have proof of that, but you got to start connecting the dots here and realize that there is a cover-up that is so deep, that is so egregious, that is so maliciously anti-American. How did we, the people, how did we allow the FBI under James Comey and people like Peter Strzok, how did we allow the FBI to become a weapon against this constitutional republic? How did this happen? And for God's sake, how does Jeff Sessions still sit there and allow this to happen? And I know you're listening to this, and in your own mind, you might have answers to that. You might think, well, Jeff Sessions is a traitor. Jeff Sessions has been compromised. Honestly, we don't know the answer to that yet. Maybe he'll come around. Maybe Trump will fire him and get someone in there like Andrew Napolitano. who will actually assert the law as it is supposed to be done in this country. But there you go. 10 big questions that need to be asked. I didn't cover all 10. But let's go to Peter Strzok's quotes. Some of these came out of testimony today. He denies that he's biased against President Trump. I mean, even though this is the guy who was caught, think about it, he was caught texting Lisa Page and saying that we will stop him. Wait a minute. Yeah, Peter Strzok, wasn't he the one who said that? That we will stop him when Lisa Page was saying, oh my God, he's not going to be president, is he? Is he? I mean, I'm paraphrasing. And I believe his answer was, we will stop him. Now, or we will stop them. It was similar. I'm paraphrasing. It's very similar to that. Who's the we? Who is this we that he is talking about? Well, it's obvious. The we is the corrupt FBI. The we is the corrupt leadership that had already decided to overthrow the presidency of the United States, to overthrow the will of the voters, to interfere with the election. They tried this before the election. They had injected spies into the Trump campaign before the election. They tried to create a pretext for seeking a FISA warrant. They lied to the judge that signed off on the FISA warrant. They covered their tracks every step of the way, and then they went back. After Trump got elected, they went back and tried to create more pretext documentation to justify their actions in a blatant attempt to try to say that they weren't committing treason, that they weren't interfering with the election, and then they blamed it all on Russia. So everything that Peter Strzok was doing and James Comey was doing, and others, you know, James Clapper, Andrew McCabe, it's a long list, right? Loretta Lynch, it's a big list. All the things that they were doing to actively interfere with the election in the United States, they blamed Russia for doing, and they just made it up. And the fake news media ran with that narrative hook, line, and sinker, and they've been lying about it ever since. To this day, this has not been resolved, and I don't know about you, but I'm about fed up with it. It's time to arrest these deep state traitors, charge them with the crimes they've committed, and take our country back. It's time. Stay with me. We'll be right back here on InfoWars. You know, it's times like this that that internal anger comes out in all of us when we see the attacks on our great nation and the attacks on our constitutional republic. But, you know, we have a tremendous amount to be thankful for as well. I mean, aren't you thankful that InfoWars is here? Aren't you thankful that we have this freedom of expression that's still here? Even though with all the censorship, with all of the attempts to smear InfoWars or my operation as well, all the attempts to blacklist us and take us down, take us offline, we are here. We are fighting for America. We are fighting for liberty actually on a global basis. We want the whole world to be free. We want individual liberty to be a universal principle. It's not just limited to America. We believe that every nation has the right to defend its borders. We believe that every citizen everywhere in the world should have access to natural cannabis medicine, for example. We believe in the basic health freedom rights to say no to a medical intervention that you don't want, whether it's a mandatory vaccine in California or the forced gunpoint chemotherapy injection of your child by a rogue police state medical system. We believe in liberty for all people everywhere around the world. And we are building platforms and we are building tools to accomplish that. And we are exercising our freedom. Of course, CNN trying to shut down InfoWars now, of course, once again, trying to say that InfoWars should be banned on Facebook, should be banned on YouTube. I mean, I've been completely banned on YouTube. But look, some good news. And I know Alex supports this project, so I'll mention it. We now have Real.video in beta. It is functioning. We are now getting videos there that have been banned by YouTube. You can just go to beta.real.video or just go to real.video and there's a link there. But we're in a beta launch phase. We've got like 500 to 1,000 videos live up there right now. And I just talked with Rob Dew before the segment. And InfoWars is going to get a channel up there. It's already been reserved for them. They're going to start uploading, and we'll have InfoWars content up there as well. And I hope Mike Cernovich joins and many others. Already some great personalities on there. We are building platforms, people. And Alex is building, a new studio. here. An impressive, an amazing new studio. I can't wait for that to go live because this studio is impressive right here. But there's another one coming. And there are more shows joining, and there's more syndication of this content. And at the same time, my organization is launching more websites every day. It's just the idea of liberty and freedom is spreading. And we have a fighting chance. See, this is the good news, people. We have a fighting chance to actually save this republic. With President Trump in the White House, thank God that Hillary Clinton didn't win that election. Or can you imagine if we didn't have Neil Gorsuch there on the court, if Hillary Clinton had named that justice? If Hillary Clinton had named a second one instead of Brett Kavanaugh? I mean, can you imagine the destruction of our Constitution and our liberties? I mean, the border would be obliterated already. There would be a flood of invading foreign nationals just flooding and occupying and taking over our country. And Hillary Clinton would say that that's humanitarian, that that's equality, while your country is just flushed down the toilet and turned into a third world crap hole, as so many of these countries have gone when socialists and radical communists are in charge. So count your blessings today, people. Count your blessings. Trump is in the White House. InfoWars is here. We are building platforms. We still can express our ideas rooted in reason and logic and history and fundamental freedoms. We have not become Venezuela. Not yet. Got to keep Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez out of the White House, you know? She's not going to have a chance there. She would turn America into Venezuela, but that has not happened. So count your blessings, people, because we have a fighting chance. And as long as you support this organization and you support the sharing of information, we have a fighting chance to take our country back and keep it alive as a constitutional republic. Don't forget the new InfoWars app at Infowars.com/app. It's a brand new app for your mobile devices, much improved. You will never miss another story, another video, another announcement. And you know why this app is so important, folks? I mean, I've said the same thing to my own audience. InfoWars is being systematically censored at every level, down-ranked by Google through a voodoo algorithm black box, okay? InfoWars is being down-ranked by YouTube, by Facebook. The censorship is full force. But if you get the app, you're bypassing the censorship. You see, the app is your ticket to freedom of information. It's your ticket to bypass the censors. Don't sit around and let Google spoon-feed you your news of the day. For that matter, I mean, don't even let Reddit determine your news of the day. I mean, nothing against Reddit. I'm just saying, don't go to Facebook and have a Facebook feed determine what you are reading that day. Don't let any centralized source of information spoon feed you some twisted, distorted view of reality. Get the real news, tomorrow's news today, by getting the apps for your favorite publishers. You know, get the InfoWars app, get the Natural News app if you want. Get the apps. Sign up to the InfoWars email list. Allow InfoWars to directly contact you. That's the only way to bypass censorship, and it matters so much. It's absolutely crucial that you function in this way because the censorship is full on. Now, let's go to this. You heard about this 91-year-old Mexican American who was beaten, brutally attacked by a person with a brick, by a woman who allegedly conducted the attack and yelled, "Go back to your country." The Washington Post, demonstrating their fake news yet again, the Washington Post refused to identify the race of the attacker. Turns out that that woman is an African-American woman, so that this story doesn't fit the narrative that the Washington Post is trying to imply. The Washington Post is a fake news rag. They fabricate fake sources. They are not anything that resembles journalism anymore. And this is another example of it. So they tried to imply that this was like some racist Trump supporter who hates immigrants attacking and beating and screaming at a Mexican American. That's not at all what happened. And of course, the Washington Post left that out of the entire thing. And now also today, there's a video that has come out. We can't even play the audio, but ICE employees, ICE agents in Portland, Oregon are under attack today, under vicious attack. And there's a black ICE agent, an African-American working for ICE who is being viciously attacked. And this story is also on the Gateway Pundit. And this person is being called an effing N-word by the left-wing protesters. An effing N-word. This attack against an African-American ICE agent / employee / officer, I don't know what terminology you prefer, but the fact that a black man who is working to secure the borders of America, that he is attacked with racial slurs, with profanity and racial slurs by these left-wing extremists who, by the way, Antifa is a domestic terrorism group, right? That's obvious at this point. I want to talk about Antifa here in a second, but the fact that this black man cannot even have a job defending his own nation's borders without being called the N-word, how insane has the left become now, where to them, if you're black and you wear the uniform of the United States government, you are now an N-word to them. That is how racist they have become. Remember, these are the people who say that Trump is racist. These are the people who say that Trump supporters are racist. And in fact, they say everybody's a racist except them, but they're the ones using the N-word slurs, aren't they? They're the ones who are hating not on black people, not just on black people, but also they hate white people. They hate men. They hate heterosexuals. They hate Trump supporters. They hate patriots. They hate veterans. They hate cops. Is there anybody they don't hate? They hate Kavanaugh. They hate every decent person who is trying to do their job and protect this country against an invasion that the left wants to see happen in America, and that's why we must stop their efforts, and that's why we need your support. Stay tuned in here on Infowars.com. This is Mike Adams. We'll be right back after this break with more news. You know, if you missed my Counterthink broadcast from Sunday, you got to check it out. I think it's now titled, If the Left Wins, Humanity Dies. I got to say, there's a lot of really important information in that broadcast. And Counterthink airs every 6 p.m. Central at Infowars.com, by the way. So check it out. I've got a lot of great episodes coming up. But for right now, there's some big news this week about Monsanto, which of course has been acquired by Bayer, essentially. Monsanto is about to get flooded with thousands of cancer lawsuits. This is a Fox Business article. And what has happened is that there's a lawsuit in California where a man who was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a form of cancer, is suing Monsanto because he was exposed to Roundup for many years, and he and his lawyers believed that the Roundup exposure caused his cancer. And there is significant scientific evidence that supports that case. But Monsanto has been, I call them sort of the big tobacco of chemical agriculture. And they, until recently, when Google now has become the most evil corporation in the world, until then, Monsanto was the most evil corporation in the world. Now it's kind of a tie. Like, who's more evil, Google or Monsanto? I don't know. Monsanto poisons your body and your food. Google poisons your brain and steals your liberty. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a tie. They're both incredibly evil. But Monsanto is getting sued in California, and there was a decision in the court that allowed expert testimony now to proceed that would tie exposure to Roundup to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now, if this court case, even now, it's going to open the floodgates to potentially thousands of lawsuits across the country. This is starting to look a lot like big tobacco. And it turns out that Monsanto intimidated and threatened scientists, paid off regulators. Monsanto has been running online smear campaigns for years against any critics of GMOs or glyphosate. I think they spend $1 million a year just to target myself and one other person, the Food Babe. Monsanto is a very, very evil corporation, and it looks like that they are about to get hammered hard. Thousands of lawsuits could come to the surface, and they've been poisoning people for generations. This is the company that made Agent Orange, and I think they were involved in DDT, and I know they contaminated the world with PCBs, and they buried the evidence and they hid the science. So you know what? Some of this is coming back on them now, and it could there could be a tidal wave of lawsuits that could make the Monsanto acquisition by Bayer a very, very costly acquisition. And now, getting back to today's news, when I see Peter Strzok testifying before Congress and saying that he was not in any way biased, it just reminds me of Monsanto saying, no, glyphosate doesn't cause cancer. No, GMOs, there's nothing wrong with them. No, the science is great. No, those rats with all those tumors that can barely drag themselves across the table because the lab science rats that were fed GMOs and Roundup. No, don't look there. That couldn't be real. I mean, Monsanto and Peter Strzok. It's like Peter Strzok is the Monsanto of the FBI. He's in total denial about the evil that he has become. I mean, this is my opinion. This is not an official InfoWars opinion necessarily. This is just my opinion. I think Peter Strzok is the Monsanto of the deep state. Let's put it that way. And he's just a liar, and he continues to deepen the lie every chance he gets. And here's a quote from today. He says, "At no time in any of these texts did those personal beliefs ever enter into the realm of any action I took," he said. I think he was responding to Trey Gowdy. He says, quote, Strzok says, "The suggestion that I'm in some dark chamber somewhere in the FBI and would somehow cast aside all of these procedures, all of these safeguards, and somehow be able to do this is astounding to me," he says. It simply couldn't happen. But wait, isn't he also the guy who texted with Lisa Page about having an insurance policy in case Trump won the presidency? An insurance policy. And that they were working on that insurance policy, and that his behaviors were clearly biased by any standard of logic and reason. Remember when Bill Clinton said, he answered a question, it was like, well, that depends on what the definition of is, right? That's the way Peter Strzok is starting to talk now. Well, it depends on, it is my belief that I could not possibly have been biased in any of these decisions. That simply couldn't happen. I guess Peter Strzok wants us to believe that he has like a multiple personality disorder, and that when he's texting Lisa Page, he's this fiery anti-Trump personality, I don't know, Peter Strzok A, and then when he goes to work at the FBI, he's Peter Strzok B, the reasonable, rational person who follows all the rules perfectly and loves his country and never does anything wrong. But then when he goes home and he's texting his mistress, and then the evil Peter Strzok A comes out and is like, we need an insurance plan, stop Trump, we'll stop him. And who knows what else he texted that hasn't been released, by the way. Probably texts like, trying to find somebody to execute Trump or something along those lines. Who knows? But are we really to believe that this guy has a multiple personality disorder where he doesn't have this hatred in his consciousness when he is applying these decisions and procedures at the FBI? And by the way, you know what? Peter Strzok, you're an employee of the American taxpayer. You better answer the questions. And Trey Gowdy and others, Jim Jordan, many others, are right to put all of you in handcuffs and drag you before the United States Congress and make you answer these questions. Or if you can plead the fifth, you have that constitutional right. You can plead the fifth. But if we could ever wake up Jeff Sessions out of his coma, the DOJ also has the right to charge you with treason or sedition or whatever is the appropriate crime. Obstruction of justice, destruction of evidence, whatever is appropriate. So never forget that we are watching and we are waiting for justice, real justice, to be served. Now, as that is happening, a couple more quick things. Daily Caller reporting pressure is building on Democrats to drive off the immigration cliff. That refers to this new strategy of Democrats, which is to become as radical extremists as you can and to say that ICE has to be abolished, no borders, no border control, whatever. Anybody that shows up, they should all just be invited in. Come on in. Have a tidal wave of immigrants, no matter if they're carrying, tuberculosis or weird retroviral diseases, or they're trafficking in children or bringing in murderers and rapists, people who are fleeing their own countries because they're wanted by the authorities there. I guess the left wants all those people in America because they want absolute chaos in society. The problem is that middle America doesn't want that. I mean, the problem for the Democrats. Middle America wants a peaceful, law-abiding society. Middle America is opposed to sanctuary cities. Middle America, just reasonable, normal people don't want their country overrun with illegals and violent alien criminals. Normal people don't want sanctuary city policies that protect criminals. And it's coming to the point where you look at the mayors of cities like Portland or Oakland, or you look at the city council of Portland seems to be at war with federal immigration policy. They tried to issue citations against ICE for having a fence. I mean, it's unreal. These states and these specific leaders, you know, mayors and city council members and so on, are they really going to say that they're on the side of Antifa? Are they really going to become complicit with terrorists? Because if that's the direction they're going, then there's going to be a round of, you know, investigations. I'll just put it that way. And some of these people are going to find themselves, you know, probably behind bars at some point through the legal process. We just got a couple minutes left here. Let me leave you with this. I've got an upcoming episode of Counterthink called 10 Reasons That We Can Never Let the Left Gain Power Over Us. I haven't recorded it yet. I'm going to shortly, but I've got the list here, and I just want to cover a couple of these before I let you go today. That's very important. Number 10 on this list is that leftists refuse to coexist in a civil society. Yeah, there's the whole list right there. There's my show. They refuse to coexist in a civil society. They do not respect the law. They want lawlessness. They want chaos. They will not comply with the outcome of an election unless they win that election. And they want to try to change the rules, twist the rules, bend the rules. They want to fight dirty now. They want to stack the courts now. They want to boost the Supreme Court to 12 justices so they can do +3 liberals. You know, they want to change the rules. They are willing to do anything to gain back power in this country. They have lost their minds, and we must defeat them at every opportunity. So continue to tune in to Infowars.com. Check out my website from time to time, naturalnews.com. And check out Real.video for videos that cannot be censored by YouTube. Infowars will be on there soon. And just continue to support this organization. Get the new Infowars app. Support the Infowars store. We are here fighting for you. With your support, we can win and take back our country. Thanks for watching today. This is Mike Adams.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
You're a white male! You're a white man!
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Infowars comes to mind.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. Alex Jones.
There's a lot of controversy around this network about Alex Jones.
Google is being accused of hiding negative stories about Hillary and her campaign by changing its algorithm to bury stories like the Clinton body count story. That's according to website Infowars.
It sounds like it's confirmed there are at least 2 shooters with fully automatic weapons.
Dr. Martin Luther King has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
JFK was shot from the back and the front.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
They took the babies out of incubators and left the children to die on the front floor.
I think this is a national security imperative. We have clear things that we do not understand how they work, operating in areas that we can't control.
UFOs.
Is this global governance at last? Is it one world? The central bankers in charge?
Israel claims the attack was accidental, but some former U.S. naval officers say it was on purpose. They describe the day's action as part of a continuing cover-up.
Russian intelligence compiled a dossier on Mr. Trump during visits to Moscow.
Russian scum!
Denied everything. He called it all fake news.
And he accused CNN of being fake news.
This is a national emergency.
If they kill Trump or remove Trump, it will cause a massive civil war in this country.
This is a FEMA high-level alert.
We are at war with Russia.
Are you aware that Mr. Stone also stated publicly that he was in direct communication with Julian Assange and WikiLeaks?
The White House and the President are citing Infowars.
If they can shut us down, you're next.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. It's Alex Jones.
Extendowise, the latest product from InfoWarsLife.com, fuses all the known compounds that have been proven to be good for our hearts and cardiovascular system. And listen, everybody's got a heart. Well, actually, maybe Hillary and George Soros don't, but everybody else has a heart, and this product is amazing. So, if you have a heart and you want the very best product out there that's designed to aid a healthy heart and cardiovascular system, it's Extendowise, available at InfoWarsLife.com. And like all of our products are game changers, this baby is the most souped up, awesome version the top formulators could come up with and still be affordable. It's one of the very best heart pills out there. It's Extendowise. So Get some for yourself and family and friends. It's got the very best fish oil from the fjords. It's very, very pure, very, very clean, and has the EPA type that is specifically good for the heart, cardiovascular system. It's got the properly formulated type of CoQ10 and more. It is Extendawise, now available at InfoWarsLife.com.